Hey, what's up, guys? And welcome to episode 204 of the Pick a Side podcast. If you enjoy our podcast, drop a like below, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff. And Joel, you were talking about the Patreon. What's in the Patreon?
If you want to come chat it up with us, join the Discord. Me and River in there every day. Joel and Drew can't talk about, but come join the Patreon, get access to the Discord, and chop it up with us.
Yeah, we're releasing 2 exclusive episodes for Patreon subscribers only a month. We're going to record our newest one this weekend or next weekend, but one is already out. So yeah, thank you guys. Drop a like, don't forget, and enjoy the show. Hello, and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Pick a Side podcast. My name is Joel Moran, and I'm here with River Brown, Joel Dehls, and Will Swankie. And this is now episode 204. In this episode, we're going to react to NBA's Christmas and opening day schedule, give our definition of a superstar, give an update on KD's trade market, if the Warriors can repeat, and give our Week 2 preseason takeaways. Will Swankie's on the show with us today. Riv is back. He missed last show, and Drew will be back on next
episode.
On the next episode, yes
sir.
Fan favorite is back. You know what I'm saying? Feels good.
Oh, you're talking about you? I thought you were talking about me.
That's what it sounds like.
No, let's talk about me. Yeah.
Debatable.
Debatable? Think so?
You got a weak academy.
It's like 70 members in there.
It doesn't move me.
Okay.
Have you been recruiting new people recently?
I can recruit anybody that comes in. I immediately throw them in. Join the academy. They be like, is that Riv? Yup. And then they join. That's my recruitment process.
The last episode Will was on was the finals episode, I think.
Yeah, 185.
Oh,
so
shit.
Oh, wow.
I remember
Damn.
I remember the number. So
That was the Draymond video. What Drew said. What did he say about Draymond?
About
He
his mouth?
impacts the game
Oh,
with his
right.
mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always wondered what
that
segment was
episode.
that where he was like, the way he was able to impact the game with his mouth. I always wondered, like, what the hell was he talking
That was
about?
so insane.
That was, easily.
That's such a great clip.
Easily
though.
the gayest
Such
clip.
a great clip.
That
The
shit
Pick a
was
Side
funny
history.
as hell. And he was so dead serious. He was like, the way he was able to impact the
And
game with his mouth.
hand movement.
Yeah.
He was like, it's
He's
insane.
focused.
He
like,
paused,
he's
too.
focused
He
on
paused.
this
He's
fight.
He was like, it's insane.
He was
crazy, bro.
flabbergasted. He had no clue. That was hilarious.
yeah, but it's good to be back. I'm glad to be on with these guys too. This time for the first time.
Yeah,
So-
I know that Matthew Jimenez has been an avid supporter of Will Swankie.
Yeah,
Shout out to Matthew Jimenez,
That's
bro.
a terrible
that
shout
guy,
out. I can't lie.
that guy on Twitter, he's my number one fan. What can
Constant.
I say?
Yo, I'm thinking about it because we got worse after that episode. So if we was all here and he said that, we wouldn't have been able to finish the episode.
Nah,
bro.
that would've
Like,
been
it would have been
crazy.
so bad. Drew, man.
That would have been pretty bad.
Lock in, man.
So before we react to the NBA's Christmas Day schedule and their opening day schedule, first let's talk about a superstar and what defines a superstar. Taylor Rooks recently interviewed Jason Tatum, and in that interview, she gave Jason Tatum her definition of a superstar. She doesn't think Dame is one. She thinks Kyrie is, and Jason Tatum thinks Dame is one. So I guess on this segment, we're each going to give our definition for a superstar while also naming players that we believe are superstars and players that are just falling out of that superstar category. So, Riv, I'll start with you.
Oh, definition of a superstar. I guess the vague term for me would be just your ability to carry a franchise into deep playoff runs consistently or be the best player on the championship team. Somebody who you can put a team in front of him, and whether it be a great team, good team, or a bad team, they can will and can carry them into deep into the playoffs. So for me, that's a superstar.
What players are in there for you?
You want me, okay, so Steph, obviously. I mean, me personally, I like to split them up. Like, I think there's 10 superstars in the league, but there's like a tier 1, tier 2 type of vibe. So obviously the guys that's done it, Steph, Giannis, LeBron, Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard, those would be the guys who have done it. And then, of course, you got the next guys, the Joker, Embiid, Jason Tatum. He's walked into that conversation. I'm blanking on somebody else. Oh, no, yeah, I'm blanking on somebody else. But those are the few guys. Jimmy Butler is an interesting one because he's like kind of on the cusp of, yeah, he can be a superstar, but no, he cannot because he doesn't have those elite MVP regular like seasons, and he doesn't have those elite multiple regular MVP playoff runs. But this year, he put everybody on notice because he had to. So I think Jimmy Butler is one of the few in the cusp. I know I'm a big Paul George advocate, but I don't think he's a superstar right now. I think he's an extremely high-level all-star. He's probably, like, knocking on the door, or he's the tier under. And, guys like Trae Young, John Morant are on the rising superstars. Luka was the guy I was missing. Yeah, he's also a superstar. Why the fuck I blanked on his name? But, yeah, those are a few.
For me, okay, I thought a lot about this. I was excited for this because I feel like people don't do this that often. They don't go and define these superstar categories. They just kind of throw names out, just say whatever. So I think between the four of us, we can come up with a real definition that people can use to define what a superstar is. So for me, I wrote it down. I said a player that consistently exhibits the ability to take over a game and whose talents and abilities captivate the casual fan, making them must-see TV. I feel like that aspect of it with, players like LeBron, Luka, Giannis, these upper echelon players, you need the ability to draw in casual fans to be a superstar. Those are the faces of the league. Those are the guys that, people tune into the NBA just on a casual basis to see. I feel like that's an important, category for this definition because, it helps eliminate guys like Dame, like Jimmy Butler. I mean, these are controversial to say, but
very cute. Example you had, though. Very cute definition too.
Okay,
very cute.
I think it's good, but I think it eliminates those guys because people aren't tuning in to watch Dame as much as they are to watch Giannis, Steph, Luka, LeBron.
Are you putting John Moran in there already? Because he's as captivating as anybody in the league right now.
I would put Dame in there. If by that definition, I think Dame is a superstar.
I don't know if Dame we could talk about. I don't know if John Moran has consistently exhibited the ability to take over a game. I think he's too young for that part of the definition. Dame, I mean, he's had a longer career. He's had great playoff moments, but I just don't think people are tuning in to watch Dame like they are the top 6, 7 players in the league. I just don't think he's there.
I think he's get tuned in just as much as someone who watched Kawhi.
Really? I don't.
Do you think Tatum is a superstar?
I think after this season, I would have no problem if somebody were to claim that. I think if he does the same thing this NBA season, this upcoming one, he'll for sure be. But
same thing as in go back to the finals.
Or just make a deep playoff run, be in the close MVP conversation.
Because I'd rather watch Dame than Tatum.
I'd rather watch Dame than Giannis, my opinion.
Yeah.
But I would rather watch Dame than Giannis.
So I disagree with both of those. I think I'd rather watch Giannis way more and Tatum way more.
I don't.
Tatum, I'm biased too. Giannis isn't as fun to watch as Dame. That's why I feel the same about Kawhi.
I feel like anybody on the perimeter,
special,
high-level perimeter plays, you just would rather see than the bigs.
Do you have Trae Young?
Trae Young's not a superstar.
Yeah, no, he's...
No. But according to your definition, he's damn close.
He's close, but he hasn't taken over the game or as consistently as
the other guys.
Longer-term players, yeah.
He'll
get there, maybe.
I think he's on the cusp as well. One thing that Tatum said that was really interesting was that there's kind of a difference between like the top 4 guys in the league that are beyond superstars. He said you have like LeBron, KD, Giannis, Steph, like guys who are solidified all-time greats. A couple of those guys, top 10 of all time, and they're almost beyond being a superstar. So outside of those guys, you probably have 8 to 10 that are real superstars in the league, but aren't right now those top 20 type of players that at the end of their career, we see them, they potentially get there. But my definitions are very similar to yours. I think captivating the casual fan is interesting. I feel like it's something that's not said as much.
Yeah.
But I also think there's different ways to do it because people aren't tuning in for Embiid the same way they are like Ja. I think Ja to a casual fan is much more captivating because he's a ball handler. He's flashy. He has highlight dunks, and he could do all this different stuff that Embiid's just not doing.
Kyrie fits that build.
Kyrie definitely fits that.
He's more captivating than maybe 7 of the guys in the top 10.
Kyrie could be a superstar, but I wouldn't have a problem with that. I think Ja will get there. Like I just think he's on his way to fitting that perfectly.
The names you guys mentioned are all the same. Trae Young is really close to me. Ja is right there as well. They're just they're the young guys. Probably want to see it for a little bit longer, even though Trae has already made that run to the ECF. We saw Ja go down round 2 against the Warriors, really when he first time had a real team around him, even though he got injured. So they're right on the cusp. I think I'm a little closer to putting them in superstar than the rest of you guys.
Say your definition again.
A player that consistently exhibits the ability to take over a game and whose talents captivate the casual fan, making them must-see
Very nice,
TV.
See, I like that definition, and I don't want to stray too far from it because you did say you think we come to a consensus, and I think that's possible.
Yeah, we should just combine everyone's to.
My definition is fairly simple. I think you are a superstar if you can be the best player on a championship team.
And I think a player that consistently exhibits the ability to take over a game is a player that can lead a team to a championship.
Yes, to an extent, I feel like, because I look at a guy like Donovan Mitchell who has done that. He does take over games.
But he's not must-see TV.
I think he's must-see TV.
I think because you're a diehard NBA fan, he is.
I mean, he's
I said casual fan. You're not a casual fan.
In the playoffs, Donovan Mitchell, 7th all-time in playoff points per game.
You don't got to tell me, bro.
He takes over. So that's why, for me, I think it's yes, the ability to take over games, but that results into winning, because ultimately winning has to be a part of the bill. Like what Tatum said, the all-time greats I think are pretty much secured in the top 10. It's Giannis, Steph Curry, LeBron, KD, Kawhi are all-time greats. Then everybody after that, like Jokic, Doncic, Tatum, and Embiid, they're not all-time greats, but they're trending that way. But I think there's only 9 superstars in the NBA. There's only 9 players I think you can win a championship with if they're your best player. That's Giannis, that's Steph, that's LeBron, that's KD, that's Jokic, that's Luka, that's Kawhi, that's Tatum, and that's Embiid. I don't think Jimmy Butler is a superstar. Is he close? Yes. Like the fringe guys, I think are Jimmy Butler, are Damian Lillard, are Paul George,
Jason Tatum,
are Jason Tatum. I think is a superstar.
I do too.
Devin Booker is like those fringe guys because D-Book, he has you can argue Devin Booker has just as much of a case if we're talking about winning than Tatum, because in his first playoff run, he made the finals and averaged 26 in the finals.
I would say this. It's so tough because
Kyrie's not a superstar.
No, yeah, I think we can all agree on that part. Like Tatum said, the top 5 guys, top 6 guys, they're beyond superstars, which is why I feel like there should be a tier level to superstars, because there's the tier 1s who've 3 championships, 4 championships, 2 championships. We've already established where they are. But I do think after that, like, it's tough because people are going to think, well, how come Booker – people are going to ask us, well, how is Embiid a superstar, but Devin Booker isn't? But Devin Booker has been to the finals. Same thing with Trae Young. He's been to the ECF, whereas Embiid, it's so tough for him. Even Jimmy Butler, because Embiid is the only guy out the top 10 who has yet to make it past the second round. Guys like Paul George, Jimmy Butler, Trae Young, Devin Booker, they've made it to either one conference finals or consistent conference finals. So it's tough, but I think like regular season has to matter when it comes to it and your level of play. If you're in the MVP conversation for fucking 3 seasons in a row, then you got to be considered at some point some type of superstar. But playoff, winning, like my case, I argue for Jimmy Butler because he may not have the superstar numbers, but if Tatum can walk into that conversation after this year, I don't see why Jimmy Butler can't walk into that conversation after this year either.
I think the difference is that, and this comes from somebody I believe Butler outplayed Tatum in the playoffs. But Tatum, I know that playoff production is going to transfer over to the regular season. Like, I am pretty positive Tatum's going to be in a top 10 MVP race. Right. He's going to be top 10 in MVP race next season. For sure. I don't know that about Jimmy Butler. Like, Jimmy Butler, I think, will be an all-star, but he's not going to be he's not going to be a high-level one in the regular season.
So what's
We've
worse?
We've seen Butler turn it on in the playoffs, so wouldn't you prefer that?
And Miami's record when their stars are out is very good.
Yeah,
they were able to stay afloat and be the number 1 seed last year with a lot of injuries.
So what's worse? Playing at an MVP level in the regular season and then dropping off in the playoffs, or playing at a high all-star level in the regular season and then going up to a superstar level in the playoffs?
That's what Jimmy Butler does.
Are you basically comparing Harden and Butler?
Or
I was comparing Embiid and Butler. I wasn't even.
Are you going to say
Tatum? I think I'd rather take. Between Harden and Butler, I'd rather take Harden than Butler.
I wasn't even thinking Harden.
And I'd rather take Embiid than Butler too, because I think.
So you'd rather have a great regular season?
This is the thing. Harden had great regular seasons. He averaged 35, right? In the playoffs, he averaged 30.
That's fine.
He dropped off, but he still averaged 30. I'm saying, like, Jimmy Butler will average 22 in the regular season and average 26 in the playoffs, and even then, it's every other year. Last year, he played worse than Bryn Forbes. So Jimmy Butler, if he did it consistently, then you're like, okay, he's in that conversation. But the fact that he does have that embarrassing moment, he does have that embarrassing first round playoff series where he averaged less than 14 points. I do kind of knock him for that. And on top of that, he doesn't have the great regular seasons as these other players. Like, all these players are MVP level players. I don't have Dame as a superstar because I frankly think Steph Curry is the only guard in this era that can win a championship as your best player. And Dame hasn't had the best of rosters, but he's had good enough rosters to give teams challenges. And getting swept in the conference finals against Golden State, and him playing poorly, I think does diminish his superstar, I guess, case for him. And also the Drew Holiday series and Rajon Rondo versus Pelicans.
I feel like Dame and Embiid have the same case, honestly.
I feel like with those examples, like, we should not take age into consideration for who's a superstar, but like you comparing him to Tatum, like, I think a lot of people are high on Tatum for next year and ready to put him in the MVP conversation because we just saw what he did this playoffs and this season, and we assume he's only going to get better from here, right? So Jimmy Butler's 32 years old. I think we're starting to get ready to see him potentially decline, and, you know, he's not going to get better from this point. We've kind of seen who Jimmy Butler is, the best of him. I think a lot of people don't really know Jason Tatum's ceiling quite yet.
Yeah, you make a good point, but to counter that, last season we saw Tatum in the second half of the season average 30+. So he was giving that type of regular season output. He averaged 26 for the regular season, or 27, where Jimmy Butler for the past 5-6 seasons has been around 19 to 22. That's what he gives you in the regular season. In the playoffs, does he turn it up a bit? Yes, he does. But it's only been 2 times with Miami.
And we can also consider more than scoring. I mean, I think Jimmy Butler's a better defender than Tatum. I mean, both of them are great, but I would still take Jimmy's defense. So there's that side of the ball too, but I see your point there.
He had 5 40 balls. Like, what are we going to do with those 40 balls? I mean, like he literally, for a Miami team that won a lot without him, they looked bad in the playoffs. He had to literally backpack them to the ECF. You know, so it's like it's tough. I'm not saying he is a superstar. I'm just making a case for why he could be.
How many playoff runs do you think Jimmy Butler's averaged 25+ points per game in?
Probably 0 if you're bringing it up.
Maybe 1.
It's just been 1. It's just been this past playoff run.
Maybe 1, yeah.
So every other playoff run, he's averaged 23 or less, which is still good, but
that makes sense.
That's like his average, or it's a little more than his average, but about what he does in the regular season. It's not these constant 40 balls that he, you know, throws in here and there.
This is the first time he went on, but realistically, outside of last year, when has he needed to do it?
In Chicago,
when we were 8th seed.
Rondo went down. I mean, you guys were in the lead with Rondo. He goes down, you guys lose.
Jimmy wasn't. He still was getting better
in Minnesota versus Houston in the first round.
He came off a meniscus injury.
You forgot that part? I'm just asking you.
No, but add some
context.
He
couldn't have turned up, though?
He came off a meniscus injury.
I mean, if he's the best player on the team, he needs to do it every time, if we're really answering it.
You coming off a meniscus injury. And then Philly, I don't even think I feel like I need to explain the situation in Philly. That was just a really weird. But the Bryn Forbes thing, I can't.
In Minnesota, he averaged in that Houston series, he averaged 16.
He was hurt.
Yeah. Then he went to Philly, he averaged 19. Then
Miami's
in Miami,
no, the Forbes one you won. You got
Miami's his home.
The Forbes shit.
This is where
I can't explain the Forbes shit. Not scoring more than Forbes is nuts.
Yeah, and he shot 29% from the field.
Yeah, I can't explain that one. That's crazy. I don't know. It's tough.
I mean, it's pretty easy for me. It's if you can be the best player on a championship team, you're a superstar.
So what gives you the idea that Joel Embiid could be the best player in the championship team?
Right. See, that's the thing. Like
that's my question.
I feel like
just MVP voting. That's what we're going off.
That are dominant enough to be a superstar, but just haven't shown it in the postseason yet.
You can dominate in the regular season. You can be that dominant player in the regular season.
And you deserve to be called a superstar if you're dominant in the regular season to an extent.
To an extent, but then when you get to the playoffs, when you need a superstar to be a superstar, you know. His stats look amazing in the playoffs. His overall stats look amazing in the playoffs. But when you go watch the games, you go look at the fourth quarters, he's not playing like a superstar.
So what's holding you back from saying Embiid is one?
Playoff success? And people still, when you see top 10 lists, people still have Embiid over Tatum pretty
No,
frequently.
I'm more challenging our criteria than holding back. We're saying, can you be the best player in the championship team? Jimmy has went to a finals, which he played amazing against LeBron James and Anthony Davis, and then he just went to an ECF where the young buck up and coming Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, he, if not outperformed both of them, played up to their level. So my thing is, if Embiid gets I think he can be the best player in the championship team. Well, then why can't Jimmy Butler get the same thing? If he just went to a
Do
finals,
you not care
and to
about
ECF.
Butler's inconsistency in the ECF this year? Where he dropped 40 balls, where he dropped games where he disappeared. He got hurt his second half of one game,
Knee
but
inflammation.
He only
Tatum,
had,
I know,
2
but
games
Tatum
where he
was hurt.
disappeared.
Tatum did that too, though, in the
'cause
finals.
Tatum's been hurt.
Tatum's
We knew,
been hurt
but we
for a
thought it was a
minute.
shoulder injury. I remember he went down.
I personally
shoulder.
think they're amongst the 9 players I have. I think Tatum and Embiid are the ones that you can make a case to not be there.
Yeah.
I'm just.
But
playing
I think
devil's advocate.
Luka is, even though he hasn't won a championship, we
He's
know
must-see
Luka.
Does the
TV.
position do anything to that? Embiid's a center, Tatum's a wing. That
No.
you lean one way or the other.
Not really. And for Embiid, I mean, he played with a broken face. In this past playoff, he still averaged 24 points per game. I look at Philly, and I look more so at the roster construction around Embiid that hasn't had the best of spacing, that hasn't had the best of defenders surrounding him, that hasn't had the best of depth. I think this year is the year.
Wait. So you just hold on.
Riv's ready for this one.
I see you tried to jump out of that,
What do you
but
mean?
you knocked Jimmy. So let me ask you a question. Last year, when they were the number 1 seed, that wasn't a great team. Philly.
That was a great team.
And they didn't just fold.
They did fold.
Okay, and then in
Folded bad.
Toronto, what happened to him? That wasn't a great team when
No.
they played Toronto,
That was
and he did what?
he didn't play his best against Marc Gasol.
So then why are you sitting here saying, oh, the team construction and they didn't have the proper space when he's had maybe not all the world opportunities, but he's had a couple opportunities to make that run, and he himself hasn't prevailed. But
So
you knocked Jimmy just out.
you mentioned last year
I'm just asking.
Well,
Last year they did fold. Did they
versus
not?
Atlanta.
As a team.
Versus Atlanta.
He did have
right?
like 8 turnovers in a game
No,
7.
I know what you're saying. Versus Atlanta, though, right?
Atlanta.
He averaged 28 in that entire playoff
that's-
run.
Yep.
In that series alone, he averaged 25 plus. We know that Ben Simmons was more of the catalyst for their downfall, and having Matisse Thybulle. I mean, they were playing Ben Simmons and Thybulle at the same time, 2 guys who can't space the floor at all, with Joel Embiid.
And they were still up 3-2.
Okay, but I'm saying, is that the proper roster construction around Embiid?
If you're still winning, though, why is it a problem now when you're folding? It wasn't a problem when you were winning
I think it was a problem. It just wasn't that apparent.
because you have
3-2.
allegedly a superstar on the court, so it shouldn't matter.
It's still a problem. I just don't think it was that apparent.
okay.
I mean,
that's fair.
and plus, like, I think last year versus Atlanta, that really, to me, doesn't have much to do with Embiid. I know Embiid didn't play well in the fourth quarters, but he was carrying every single quarter. I mean, you look at Embiid in almost every single game. In 5 of the 7 games, he led both teams in rebounding.
As he should.
He led them in every single game in points in over half of those games. And for the series, he averaged 30 and 13.
I get it.
I mean, that's not a bad series. And then you look at everybody else on the team. Seth averaged 21.
Dog.
Who
That's out of normal for him.
He's a floor spacer. He's someone that fits next to Embiid. Tobias averaged 19. Everybody else didn't average more than 10.
I get it. What was Embiid's splits?
Embiid shot 47% from the field and 36% from 3, and 82% at the
I
line.
like that. Turnovers?
His turnovers, 33 in 7 games.
It's like 4 a game, almost 5 a game.
Ugh, that's nasty. That's nasty. I don't like that. I think he had 8. I think he had like 8 one game.
He had 4.7 a game, which is the average. I mean, he wasn't the best, but though, like most of these superstar players, they have teammates that when they're not their best are able to
Having a guy next to him.
lift up the mantle. For example, for Giannis, not that he wasn't his best last year, but Chris Middleton a lot of times was the closer for that team.
Tatum definitely had that with Brown this last year.
That's fair. I mean,
But most teams, I mean, outside of even the Warriors this year, didn't have like offensively a consistent number 2. It was just Steph. But outside of that, almost every team that's going to a championship is going to have that number 2 that could, if the superstar is struggling, at least lift them up or,
I could dig
Make
But
up
what
for
I
some of the
was
work.
saying is that for the majority of Embiid's career, Philly has been trying to make the Ben Simmons Embiid thing work.
Yeah.
So they never went all in one direction on who to build around. it's only been about 2 seasons now where they're now going all in on the Embiid direction.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this roster exemplifies a team that is properly constructed around Embiid. You have Harden, the playmaker. You have Tyrese Maxey, the scorer. You have Tobias. You have PJ Tucker, the grit and grind guy who's going to defend at a high level. You have the bench. D'Anthony Melton is there. Like, they have these pieces now that I think this year is the year you can properly gauge where Joel Embiid truly is amongst the superstar players. But if we're talking about a player who for the past 2 seasons has been runner-up to the MVP, I don't think in any world that's not a superstar. I think that is a superstar. He just hasn't had the proper rosters around him. And coaching, Doc Rivers is the coach.
Well, what about this past year? And what's the difference between the Sixers going into next year and their
They still have
playoff
the
run
same coach.
this year?
I
Anthony
think
Melton moves
the
you?
difference, this is the difference.
No, Harden moves him.
I
Harden
think
for
Well, Harden was on the team.
this is the difference. The difference is that I think this Philly team has a little bit too much talent. As crazy as that sounds, for Doc Rivers to mess it up.
But what about, I mean, they had half a season. I know it's not a lot of time for them, but it's the same construction.
I don't
same
think
talent.
I don't think it's same. PJ Tucker is a huge get.
That's not
Yeah,
a
I mean,
huge
but
talent.
No,
get.
it's a huge get.
It's you talking about PJ Tucker first
It's not
of
a
all.
huge
Who
talent.
did they
get.
start last year
That's a
at
big.
that same
it's not
position?
That's a glue guy.
talent
That's a
get,
big
though.
glue
Who
guy,
did
though.
who
You know.
did he start last year at that position?
Tobias. I think he played the 4.
He's gonna start this year again.
So then who?
It was Thibault.
No, it was Danny Green.
He got hurt,
All right, but
Late in the
hold on.
season, though.
but it was Danny Green.
We can't talk about adding PJ Tucker and talk about talent in the same
That's what I'm saying.
sentence.
It's not a huge
It
talent.
doesn't make
get.
sense. It's PJ
PJ,
Tucker's,
I mean,
he's a good
Tucker's
role
great-
player.
yeah, he's a great piece for the
It's a good
Sixers.
group, but it's
I
not
think,
a
I
adaptive
think,
player.
I
talent.
think,
though.
I
It's
think
not
you're
a
looking
talent thing.
you're looking
Does,
too into.
does PJ
the
Tucker not make
talent
them
word.
better?
It moves us to say they're one of the best teams on
No,
paper.
no, but it
changes
makes
their
them. It's a
roster.
better roster with PJ
It's a
Tucker.
good roster.
It's a better one.
They got
PJ
better.
Tucker.
With
Yes, they got
PJ,
better.
it's
They got
better.
slightly better,
It's
yeah.
They
definitely better
got
with PJ.
significantly better from last year.
That's where I'm not
That's
going
what
to
I
agree.
don't
But
Because
like
they added-
PJ moves
they-
a little bit.
Look.
They added floor spacers and perimeter defenders.
How
This
many?
all-
The Anthony Melton and PJ Tucker.
That's 2.
None of
What
this
do you
matters
mean?
if Harden looked like Harden last year. PJ Tucker, D'Anthony Melton,
None-
doesn't
it
matter
doesn't-
unless you think Harden's gonna.
It's not-
You think
it's-
Harden's gonna be regular
Two
Harden.
players, 2 high impact players, especially on the defensive end, is a significant upgrade.
Yeah, but
for
it's
a
not
team in
gonna-
Philly who had
realistically,
no
it's not gonna
depth
move
and had little
anybody unless
defensive
Harden-
perimeter defense,
Harden's got to be Harden if it's gonna make any difference in the world.
and
Yeah.
he will be.
Here's the
That-
difference.
That's what you're projecting.
I'm not projecting. I know.
That you're
That's
100%
literally
projecting.
projecting.
It's
No,
the
I
definition
know.
of projecting.
So if you want to go off of one season where Harden wasn't himself and say
One?
that, and that's going to be the norm for the rest of his career, you do that. I mean, I have
but he's getting
seasons
older.
on
Injuries
seasons
are piling up.
that
I
show
know.
me what Harden is.
How old is he?
He's 32.
33.
Okay. Does he stay in the best shape in the offseason from based on his history?
He is now. Have you seen him?
Okay.
Have you seen him?
Wait, but
Yes,
didn't you
I
just
have.
say
but
history? So
I'm
based
just
off the
saying, based on the
history-
history, he doesn't always come into the season in the best of shape. He's had injuries piling up. He's 32 now. Like, so I understand history says, yes, Harden has been one of the best players we've ever seen of our generation, but this new Harden might be a different player than that. He could still be
What's-
great, but
what's-
not MVP level Harden.
What's this new Harden?
Playmaker primary, not scorer.
He averaged what, 22 last year?
Yeah,
He averaged
about
20 and 10.
20 and 10? What if that's new Harden?
that. Ew.
If that's new Harden, that's not a bad thing either way.
I don't.
not
Th-
winning.
no, it's not
They're
a
not-
bad
they're
thing,
not
but
winning.
that's
They're
not
not
going to
winning.
make the
You're
Sixers.
an all-star still.
They're not
They're
going to make the
winning.
Sixers
You're
championship
not winning
contenders.
if James Harden is 20 and 10. They're not winning.
You don't
know
think
that.
you don't think they're winning if Tyrese Maxey takes a leap?
What leap? 25? He
He's
won't
got-
take that leap
that's-
this year.
yeah.
He won't
You
take
have
that
the
leap
ball
this year.
enough to
22,
do it.
23.
21, 22.
How's he going to do that with
Maybe.
Embiid and Harden getting the ball
Yeah.
too?
He
With
averaged
Harden,
18
with
last
Harden
year.
as the primary ball carrier.
He averaged 18 last year.
Playmaker.
Let me look at his numbers with James Harden.
That's
that-
what, that's what I was going to ask because Harden was on there half the year.
Hold on, for that to happen, for Maxey to average 25, Harden is going to just have to be point guard and not score at all. That's basically what I think is going to happen. He's going to have to give it up to him every time, and he's going to have to average less than 20 points per game because they're not going to have
17 points a game with James Harden.
3
No, he
20-plus
averaged
point
18.
scorers.
Regardless, 17, 18.
No, it was 17.
No, I'm literally right here. It's in front of
Reading
my
it too.
face.
17 is 5.
I don't know. This is stat
We're
news.
close.
says-
Doesn't matter.
Regardless,
It's a
17,
stat,
18.
yeah.
Same thing.
It's a-
So-
but what I'm saying is, this is my assumption, and this is my projection. I do think James Harden is going back to his old James Harden self. Is that completely being
Old James Harden himself is 28 points a game.
I don't think. Listen, this is what I'm gonna say. I don't think Harden is gonna go to necessarily his Houston ways
Yes.
because he doesn't need to. This is a team that he doesn't need to score 30. He can score 24, 25, and they'll be fine because they have a 30-point scorer in Joel Embiid. Harden is going to average 24 and 12. He's going to average those Brooklyn numbers that got him in the MVP race originally when he was in Brooklyn. He's finally fully healthy now. Embiid is going to be in the MVP race. Tyrese Maxey probably makes his first All-Star game this year. And Tobias Harris is as steady of a player as you can find in the NBA. When you couple that in with, and also Tobias is not a bad defender. He's a pretty solid defender. When you couple that in with the moves they made, like getting PJ, having D'Anthony Melton, having Matisse Thybulle still come off the bench, yes, this team significantly improved, and that's why I've been saying.
Joel Embiid in the fourth quarter averages 8 points on 41, 11, 77 splits. I just wanted to look that up real quick.
I think this is the year you can properly gauge Joel Embiid because he's going to have the proper roster around him that's constructed to fit his strengths, and this is the year that you can say, okay, you have to make a deep playoff run this year.
Can Harden still go back to he'll average 24 and not 28, but when Embiid is having an off night in the playoffs, can he give you 40?
Yes. I think Harden is going to be that.
Okay. I think that's just as important as well as being regular Harden, but can he have those games when Embiid's struggling?
Yes. And, I mean, listen, Harden at his worst is an all-star. So
He'll be an all-star.
So the floor, the thing is, when people often talk about Harden, it's often in a negative tone. But how often do you talk about a player and you say, wow, their floor is an all-star? Like, if Harden's
Harden's a great player.
If Harden's his absolute worst next year, he's actually an all-star.
Well,
If Harden's absolute worst, they're not going to
you're
chip.
damn near a generational superstar
saying, like-
and you go all the way to all-star, yeah, we're going to talk shit because that's like, what the hell?
Yeah, like half a season too. When he was on the Nets
literally
coming into
happened
this year,
fast.
people expected him to be a guaranteed all-star, like you're saying, but
He didn't
also
have a training camp, though. He didn't rehab.
part of the Nets' big three, and he fell off in basically half a season when he got traded, and nobody expected him to be the 1A to Embiid. Everybody knew that he was going to be the sidekick to Embiid going to the Sixers.
He didn't really train last year the way he usually trains basketball-wise.
Hamstring
He had to
injury.
rehab his hamstring the entire offseason, which is why he didn't have that same burst. Like this year, we're going to see that burst in Harden. It's coming. I know it's coming.
I think for this point, this all started talking about Embiid. I think your point about Harden going back to normal and averaging 24 and 12 is a lot more important than D'Anthony Melton and PJ Tucker.
Yes.
I think those guys are nice role players. They raise your floor a little bit, but Harden's going to have to average 25 and 12 if you think the Sixers are going to make a serious run.
Ultimately, yes. If they're going to make
And
a
be
serious
healthy.
playoff run, James Harden has to be the second superstar they traded for to complement Embiid. You're absolutely correct.
Yeah, that matters more.
And
That's
what
all
I
we were
think
saying.
he's going to be. I think James Harden is going to get back to that level. We're not going to see it in the flashes we saw before, but I think he definitely gets back to that
I think we
level.
just want to see it in the playoffs. We could care less about the regular season at this point. I think everything it's for Embiid too. Like we don't, as much as we love the finishing second behind the best big in the league thing, we want to see this all in the playoffs. So hopefully your predictions come true, buddy. You've been beasting for that Harden ring for a long time, man.
It might come this year.
Might not.
It might come this year.
So what's our definition?
I liked his. I like Will's.
I don't like Will's.
No?
I don't like the second part.
I feel like it brings in both parts, though.
I don't like the second part though.
The casual part.
What don't you like about it?
I like when you said take over a game. I
Yeah.
really like that part. I don't like the captivating part because there's so many captivating players in the league. I don't like that.
But to you, we got to think like people that don't really care about the NBA that will
A
watch.
casual
will
thinks
come
Ja
for
Morant.
But I
LeBron.
don't know a casual near me, so I can't
But
really.
a casual
I
is
can't
going to
even
think
give
Ja
you
is a superstar.
Okay, is Zion a superstar? Because a casual.
No, because he hasn't taken over a game
Well,
consistently.
then we got to take that out.
A casual thinks Ja Morant's a superstar.
Superstars have to hit both of the things, and John Morant's too
I don't
young
think
for
Kawhi
that,
hits
I think.
both of the things though.
I
A player like
agree.
Kawhi doesn't hit both of those. And
That's
the
why
Joker
Dame
also.
is more
The Joker
captivating.
doesn't hit both of those things. You know the Joker doesn't hit both of those things.
I don't know.
Especially the
Joker was doing TikToks with Charlie D'Amelio at the All-Star
I don't
game.
know who that is, but I'm just going to say this. I
You know who Charlie D'Amelio is?
I don't know who Charlie D'Amelio is.
she's like a big TikTok star.
Would you think I know who that is?
Because
She's
like,
mad
she's
famous.
mad famous.
Yeah, she's like the most followers of all time or whatever.
On TikTok? Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Most
Yeah.
followers? That's her?
She has like over 100 million.
Oh, shout out to her for that. We should.
I think Kawhi's interesting. I think Kawhi works against being famous, being well known. I think he's an outlier in that respect. So I think
Jokic does too. Though.
Jokic is a better point. I think it's hard to say Kawhi because he like actively pushes against going anywhere, doing it. Yeah, exactly. So
he barely owns
Joker
a
does?
phone. No, Kawhi.
I know, but his Joker.
The Joker doesn't either.
I was say I've never seen him on social media.
I think if you want to expose it for those two,
that's why I like the first part. The first part
sense.
really heightens. I say we add your first part and then his definition. Best player in the championship team and the ability to take over.
but then we eliminate Embiid and players like that if we do best player on a championship team.
But
Embiid is a
taking
special
over.
case, so it's like he's going to be the special case.
But to be a
regardless.
superstar, you have to both of the.
Do you think Embiid could be the best player in the championship team? I don't know if we got there.
Did you ask me?
Yeah,
And is he a superstar?
because I feel like
I think he
you're a
has
yes.
to. I think automatically he has to because he's top 8 in the world.
Exactly.
Embiid doesn't have to be a superstar for everybody. I already told you guys, him and Tatum are two of the guys that you can knock out that list, and I really don't care.
I don't think you can knock out Tatum at this point. He
You
just
can't.
went to the finals.
At 24.
But he didn't win.
But he went to the
Oh, so
finals
now
at
we're doing the
24,
win
and he was
No,
right there,
best
bro.
player on a championship team.
The Boston Celtics are a
They
championship team.
went 6 with
lost.
the Warriors.
I mean, okay.
You're acting like we got fucking swept and blown up by 30 every game.
Even if you didn't, you went to the. I think if you go to the championship, you're a championship.
Look,
team.
I think Tatum is a superstar, though.
I would say Embiid is a superstar because he's the top 8 in the world. When you're top 8 in the world, what the fuck? You got to be a superstar.
but then you don't love his definition.
No, I love his first part.
Yeah. But his second part, no.
And like you said, he's such a special case. We're gonna
Okay.
call him a special
Alright.
case because I don't know if he can be the best player in the championship team, but it's hard for bigs. So, and it's a wing league. So I don't know. Does he take over games? He does has that takeover ability, but can he be the best player in the championship team? Like you said, roster construction, all this type of good shit. I don't know. So we'll see.
That's for most players, though. I mean, Jason Tatum has a very great roster around him.
He does.
You have to have a great roster to be a championship team, for the most part. There are outliers like the Lucas and LeBrons, but for the like Kawhi has had just probably the best roster talent-wise since he's joined the Clippers, and he hasn't won.
Hurt. Tough luck.
Okay, that's fair.
I think it's hard to define. I think that's what we learned today.
Yes.
Well, I mean, is talent the same thing as fit?
No.
No.
Because I don't think the Bucks are talented like shit out of the world talent, but they fit around Giannis, so they look a lot better than what they actually are.
I think superstar transcends both of those.
Yeah, so I think if you have that type of player, the dude don't got to be as talented as fuck. He just got to fit around you, and you're gonna make it look like LeBron does this shit almost every
guess.
year.
You're saying role players fit around
Middleton-
you? Or other superstars?
Role players, even
But
sometimes
Middleton-
Well, anyone.
low end all stars can look a lot better with you. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying, but Middleton is a star.
No, I was just talking about the role players.
Holiday is a star.
A star.
He's a low-level star, but I think he's a star.
I don't know. I think he's.
Is he, bro? I love Drew Holiday, but
Low level star
He was
seems okay to
he
me.
was the missing piece to their title run.
Not
he
wrong.
was because he was
guess.
much better than Bledsoe, who's garbage.
Right.
So you know what? I don't.
Brooke Lopez, he's
He's
you
not
can
a star.
argue. No, he's
No.
not. But
Oh, okay.
you
I
can
thought you were
argue
going
Brooke
that way.
Lopez is the best stretch big in the league.
Over Kevin Love.
What's the cat?
Yes,
Okay.
he's better than Kevin. I think
As
Lopez.
a stretch. Okay.
Yeah, and because of his interior defense, his ability as a shot blocker.
I like that. I wouldn't call him a star though.
No. And Brooke Lopez?
I don't
call
think
him-
anybody's
hell
doing
no.
that.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
But
Hell no.
you can't name me a stretch big better than Brooke Lopez. That
Carl
does-
Anthony Towns.
I was going to
Okay,
say
but
cat. Like,
but
I forgot about Cat.
but
honestly.
he's
I literally-
more than that.
What the?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. But he's still. Is he at least a stretch big? Yes. So,
Yes, but
that's
he's
his
more.
bare
I'm talking
minimum.
about guys that
the
you
franchise player.
classify as that's a stretch big.
so just
Like that.
exclusively floor spacing big men.
So limited. This is a stretch big. Like they're
Yes.
limited to this is a stretch big.
And
That's their role.
Lopez isn't even limited to that. He can do more. He just doesn't because he plays a role. But he did make an All-Star before.
Stop. Stop. That was.
You heard what Draymond said, right?
What did Draymond say?
Draymond said if you was an All-Star once, you're always an All-Star to me.
That's kinda
Stupidest
dumb.
shit I've ever heard in my life. Honestly.
So the Bucks have 4 All-Stars in. Giannis, Middleton, Drew, and Lopez.
Drew and Lopez haven't made an All-Star game in
How
decades.
long, bro? Like Brooke Lopez?
I think maybe Drew might have made it again.
I might have been in middle
maybe?
school.
I feel like he made it recently.
Yeah, did he make it recently? Maybe one more time?
Who?
Drew Holiday?
Nah, he only made it once in
That was a long time ago.
in Philly.
What year do you
20
think Brooke Lopez was an All-Star?
2014.
2013.
2014,
15.
2015.
14, really? You think?
Wasn't that long ago.
I feel like it was decades ago.
The team was
oh,
dog
it
shit.
doesn't fucking-
It says it on the.
2012, 13.
He was a 20-point per
Yeah,
game
10
scorer.
years ago. 10 years
Literally, yeah. Come on. What are we doing here?
No, yeah, he's not a star in the world, but I think he's one of the best stretch big in the league. But that team, you're right, it fits properly around Giannis. But those are players that are talented that fit around Giannis. Like you couldn't just get.
Wesley Matthews is talented.
I think he was a very good defender for them.
I didn't ask you that. I asked if Wesley Matthews was
Well, you
talented.
named me one player.
I'm gonna name more. I'm just wanting to see if you're gonna stick with.
He's not talented,
Pat
but he's a
Connaughton
good
is
player.
talented.
Pat Connaughton's a good player.
No. Stop doing that.
He's a good player.
Is he talented though? Is he talented?
Just because he's not talented doesn't mean he's not a good player.
That's what I was saying.
He's a
though.
good player.
I
plays his
I
role.
agree with you that he's a good player, but
Isn't
he's
it-
not talented.
No.
He just looks much better with
Plays his role.
Giannis.
Is it not easier to play when you have one of the best players in the world? You're going to look better
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But
Like,
I think Pat Connaughton could go to other situations and do well.
with
with
another
other
superstar.
Well, yes.
Like, obviously, yeah, you put him on
he
like
ain't going to a regular
fucking-
schmegler
yeah.
and then just.
He's like the Norman Powell of the Bucks. Like you take him off and you put him on a random team. He
So
might
he's
he
on
might
the
average
Blazers. You
15.
don't think he's just
He might average
Pat
15.
Connaughton's going to average 15.
Pat Connaughton.
could.
15.
15?
Crazy. I don't know.
so,
I don't
bro.
know if he can do that.
I
What
don't
did he
think
average
he's going
last
to
year?
average 15.
I don't know if he can get the 15. He got to create. Like I don't need. I've never seen him
Well,
create.
Pat Connaughton's a good player, though.
He's a good player.
It doesn't matter about the talent. He's a good player. He's
No,
a good
he's-
defender.
He's a
He
good
averaged
player.
6 points. I take back everything I just said.
He never.
I
Now he
don't-
averaged 10 last year.
Oh, that's for his career. My bad.
He averaged 10.
15 is fucking nuts. I can't see that from him.
Okay.
26 minutes per game too.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah.
Talent, man. I don't, you know, it's everybody's a special case by except the guys who obviously win. The guys who haven't won yet, it's case by case thing. So
The NBA recently released who's going to be playing on opening night, and it's going to be the Sixers versus the Celtics and the Lakers versus the Warriors. Now, what do you think about the opening day? I don't know about you guys, but I was kind of disappointed in the second matchup. I thought the Lakers and Warriors, I understand it's LeBron, it's Steph. That's the biggest marketability for them because you have LeBron and Steph there. But as just a game, as just a basketball game, I think it is a pretty weak opening day game. But Philly and Boston, I'm all for. I think that's going to be a
Gonna
great
smoke
game.
them.
I'm tired of seeing that shit.
We're going to see
smoke them.
Harden score 30.
Is it in Boston?
It's in
It should be.
Boston. Yep.
I'm tired of the Lakers and Warriors playing. Like you said, I would have much rather see somebody else. Maybe Memphis again, or maybe Dallas. They could play Dallas. I feel like they're milking the Steph. They're gonna milk the Steph and LeBron rivalry till they both retire. I think that's what's gonna be it. They're gonna milk that. It's great money. It's great marketing. So I understand that part. But I would have much rather seen the Warriors, like from a team aspect, play Dallas or play Memphis or even play Boston
Or Clippers.
or the Clippers. That would
LA versus LA would have been tough. I
LA,
think
like-
they play that 2 days later.
Yeah,
though.
that would have been a nice little matchup. Warriors and Clippers on opening day, the two best teams in the West. For Philly and Boston, we've seen Boston whip Philly ass for a really long time, but this is a new stage with Harden now. So
Doesn't
it'll be
move
fun
me.
to see that fresh team, to see the new Harden against the best defense in the league. As of that point, it could change, obviously. But I like which game first.
The East
Boston
The
is.
East one,
I'll probably
Celtics
tune in.
7:30.
I'm gonna tune in just because it's Steph, but I like the first game more than I like the next game, to be honest.
Yeah.
Harden's going to drop 30 on JB.
No, he's not. Hell no. Harden's
Yeah.
gonna be in hell.
Oh, he's probably not going to guard him because JB doesn't take the toughest assignment.
Yeah, Smart will be on him.
Yeah, I think for me,
Sure?
I mean, the NBA's got to
On
keep it.
Harden?
The NBA's got to keep it fresh. They can't just keep rehashing these playoff matchups we just saw in, April, May, June. They got to bring in some new teams. We haven't seen the Lakers in a while. They didn't make the playoffs, so the NBA is just going to put their biggest markets. Boston, LA, the Warriors now count for that. I mean, Philly too. So they just got to, give us some matchups that are going to be exciting and entertaining that weren't just on display, just a few months ago. So I think that's probably their angle. I mean, they're doing what the NFL does. They're putting their champion on, the first game, putting both the teams in the finals. But yeah, I just think it's good, to have LeBron, to have these superstars showcase on the first night. And we're going to get these matchups throughout the year. I mean, Christmas Day is a day for this.
Should have been Bucks, Boston, and then Clips, Warriors. Boom, just like that.
That's not a bad one either. I mean, Bucks, Boston, we just saw again, so that kind of fits back to the playoff thing. But I just think, some new teams that we'll get these exciting matchups later in the year. So I think it's fine.
Or Timberwolves Pelicans.
Nobody wants to see that on opening night.
Not opening night. That would have been.
Nobody
That
wants
would've
to
been.
see that shit on opening night.
Would you rather see that or Warriors? Lakers?
I would rather see Steph Curry.
Warriors,
dance
I
around
know.
in some
What would you
pants.
rather see?
You gonna ask him?
The Warriors.
Oh, I'm
Oh,
I'm
good.
shocked. That's
Yeah,
because
yeah.
honestly, I think I might rather watch
You know you
the
would.
Pels. Pels.
Pels
Timberwolves.
Warriors, valid. Slide over.
The Lakers.
Nobody wants to see
Listen,
the Lakers.
that's
bro.
what I'm saying. LeBron just has so much gravity and movement. AD being back healthy, new coach. Westbrook's going to be a 3-point shooter and play defense now. So the Lakers going to be a whole new
It
team
seems like
apparently.
the media is more excited about the backstory and what they could spin out of it than the actual game.
Because they know
That's usually how
production
it goes.
wise,
Yeah.
the Lakers aren't
We're
gonna
gonna
do
blow
shit.
them out.
Lakers aren't gonna do
opening
shit.
night.
Nah. So I'm happy the Celtics are gonna be on. You know,
Lucky
as
they're
they
not
should.
facing Minnesota.
Who's
Warriors?
lucky?
Right. The Warriors.
Steph would have abused Rudy Gobert, like really fucking bad.
Yeah.
Anthony Edwards would abuse everybody.
Nah.
You seen a report about him?
I've seen it up
He's
close and
they say
personal.
he's looking like
not.
a beast.
Everybody looks a beast in workouts. Ben Simmons looks amazing in the summer.
That's not Ant-Man, no.
Who
He's
cares?
a rare breed. He's special.
He is special. But I saw
Rare breed
firsthand
is
what
nuts.
Andrew Wiggins can do to a person, so I wouldn't put it past him.
You think rare breed is nuts?
Rare breed is.
I don't think I've seen a player of his profile in a long, long time.
Anthony Edwards
hmm
profile. Like elaborate. What you mean?
6'4", 225.
So LeBron's profile
I
doesn't
was gonna
move
say
you one
that-
At the guard position. at the
That's
shooting
not
guard position,
insane size.
That is insane.
6'4",
6'4", 225 is not
225?
insane size.
D Wade was undersized. He was
Yeah.
6'4". You do know that, right?
6'4" for a 2 is
225.
short.
He's
Who's the last two
Like
guard
that's
you
a
could find
small
at-
2
Devin
guard.
Booker is 206. I mean, that's
6'6".
kind of close.
He's 20 pounds off. And that's 20 plus pounds of muscle.
It's a
That's
thick guy.
225 pounds of muscle.
Interesting.
He's a freight train.
Zion's profile doesn't fit you either. Like
Oh my god.
I said shooting guards.
no, you said
no,
he's a
at
rare
first-
breed.
at first
You
you said
he was
profile,
a rare
period.
breed. And he's
Well, who are you naming? You're naming rare breed profiles.
Yeah, but
Chris
Zion
Middleton.
is a
but
rare breed.
Anthony Edwards is not in the Zion type of
he's
rare,
not a rare
breed.
breed, bro.
Chris Middleton is 230.
He's 6'7".
Okay.
That's not muscle though. That's that's not Ant-Man.
How are you gonna break down his physique?
You don't compare them side by side.
Basketball players, Middleton probably doesn't have a lot of fat.
No way.
Probably doesn't have a lot.
All of them are in shape. I mean,
Yeah, but it might not be the bulk muscle mass titanium that
Well, you gotta
Anthony
think
Edwards has.
Middleton probably weighs more than Paul George. Paul George is taller, so that's probably muscle.
But you were naming people that had rare breed.
No,
that
I was
had
naming
rare
the
breed.
actual rare breeds.
Zion is rare breed. LeBron
And
is rare breed.
and they're like 15 years apart.
Yeah.
My points.
Ant-Man is rare breed. We don't see too many guys.
He's
like
a special
him.
player. We're not calling him a rare breed. He's a
Donovan
special
Mitchell
player.
is the same height, 216.
Donovan Mitchell 6'1".
What? I thought he was okay. That's my bad.
Well, just stop. You've been 0-3 so
Yeah.
far.
Joel's right. He's a rare breed. That's what I'm learning.
Can't find any comps for Ant Edwards. None out
It's
there.
just rare.
Nah, rare breed is crazy. If he was like, nah, he's not rare breed, but he's special.
One thing about the schedule, I was listening to Ryan Hammer's TikTok, good friend of the show. I wish some of these the young teams got some more games. The top 6 picks, I think, only have one nationally televised game apiece. Something
suck.
insane. I know, but like, you as the NBA want to get Cade
Well, you got to think
casual fans aren't watching Cade, Paulo, any of these guys. I would want more than one. The Lakers got like 30.
what
Wow.
makes the money.
I know, but you can't get
rookies
more
or-
than one.
I mean, you're putting bad teams on
Putting
national
bad
But fun
teams on
teams, but
television
fun
is-
teams.
But that's what Minnesota, the
teams.
Pels. Those
They're not
teams,
bad teams.
Memphis.
No, I'm saying
Those are
those
good
are the fun
teams.
teams. Those are the teams you got to promote right now. You can't just Detroit. They got to wait on it. You
They
can't
can't
just
get like 3.
Nah.
Detroit's like a year away.
Yeah.
Like Cavs.
You
are the
don't
team they
think
put
Cade should be
national TV.
on national TV?
I think Cade should. He will be on national TV to make the
He's
All Star
just
game.
gotta
But
wait
I'm
his-
just saying. I'm
Or
just.
so he gets one night a year.
Hey, listen, man. Listen. This is
Pay your
part of,
dues.
it's a part of the
Okay.
process.
I would have liked,
If he was generational, they would have got 40 games. You see, when Zion came in, they got 30 of them nationals.
That's true.
You got to get.
I know what
generational.
Ryan was talking about, but these players are ready to get gifted enough. Let them earn it. Let them earn national
fucking
television.
boomer
night.
over here.
Let them earn it.
He's got enough.
Nobody
dude.
wants to
They're
see
making
Houston
millions.
on for 30 games of the year.
Okay, maybe not Houston, but Detroit's fun. Magic are fun.
What
Did
makes
you
them
watch
fun?
a Detroit
Kid?
game last year?
No, but I will this year for
They were
sure.
one of the more inefficient teams in the
Who?
league.
I'm
Detroit.
telling you right now.
I know,
watched,
but they're
I watched
fun.
games.
They're
That shit
fun.
was
You got
terrible.
Cade and Ivy now, and with Magic, you got
don't even
Paolo, and
believe
you got a
that.
team. You got a fun team.
Cade,
I haven't
Ivy,
watched
and Bay.
a Nuggets game. I mean, a Detroit game because I'm in Jersey and they're never national televised. I have to get a legal stream. I don't do that.
Stream East.
By the shout out goats for real, but by the books.
I see what you're
The
saying.
NBA also released their Christmas Day schedule, and it's going to be Philadelphia at New York, Lakers at Dallas, Bucks at Celtics, Grizzlies at Warriors, and Suns at Nuggets.
I feel like the Suns and Denver, we're like a year or two removed from that rivalry. I don't even think it's a real rivalry. I don't want to see the Knicks. I don't know about you guys.
If they get Donovan Mitchell, it's fun.
We won last year,
I don't care. You played the Hawks. They were ass at that point.
but we beat them.
Yeah, but who cares?
If you win on Christmas Day, you stay on Christmas Day.
Is that true?
I don't know, but it should
Why'd
be.
you just?
The Celtics are on it every year.
Wait, you're
I mean, the
Boston.
Knicks are on it every year.
Yeah,
Madison
Almost
Square
every year.
Garden.
They weren't on.
They
it.
weren't on one time in the history of Christmas Day.
Madison Square Garden. You're on it because of the arena. You're not on it because your team's good.
That's why they get the 12 o'clock game,
Yeah.
in case they suck.
Yeah, it
Fucking
is the first
embarrassing.
game. It is the first game.
I mean, if you
There's
get
no shame in the
Donovan,
game.
if you get
No.
Donovan, the game looks much better.
Well,
but-
That's a fun
we're
game.
actually probably gonna get him though.
okay.
We've been saying this for 2 months.
Hopefully,
Yeah,
you get
I'm
him before,
over it.
No,
hopefully
there's
you
a
get him before
deal. There's a deal.
That
right
deal
now.
is
That
shit.
deal is literally
It's
the
shit.
worst deal. That's a
You
that's a
know?
2K
Do you
deal.
think Danny Ainge is gonna accept that?
You want to know what's holding up the deal right now? Like honestly speaking,
Quentin Grimes?
no. What's holding up the deal right now is that right now the Knicks are offering 2 unprotected firsts, and the Jazz want 4 unprotected firsts. As soon as
No other players? Because it was just Obi and
the report,
Fournier.
the
Yeah.
report is that the Jazz really could give a fuck about the players.
wow.
They just care about the picks.
There was also wasn't there a report like 2 weeks ago that says the deal is damn near done?
I think they did said
Oh,
that a
there
month
wasn't.
ago.
Oh, okay. So I don't care about reports at this point.
It doesn't.
No,
move
it's
me at
just
all.
right now what's holding up the deal is the picks. That's
How
it.
much do we believe that?
Well, he believes it a
believe
lot.
it.
That's why.
But like literally a month ago, they said the deal could be done tonight.
They did say that. It was dead
literally
reports
they
saying
said
that.
tonight.
Honestly, who cares?
That's
I
what I'm
feel like
saying.
y'all are chatting. I
Nah.
didn't hear that.
I 100% heard that.
No, I'm over it too. As a Knicks fan, I'm ready for them to either do it or not. I mean, I don't care about all these different reports that happen every single week. I mean, the time that it was dead, where it was like a month went by with nothing, I didn't think about it. I was just ready for it to be over and no more trade talks. But if they do get it done, good for them. But I'm just waiting for them to actually do it. And
You
It's
think
gonna
this happens
happen.
before KD?
before Katie gets traded,
Yeah.
Katie's not
whatever
getting
happens.
traded, bro.
yeah, I think if either of these things happen, the Knicks go
Mitchell
first.
deal.
Yeah.
I
Knicks
think we get Donovan Mitchell within the next month.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
September 22nd.
We're not
I
too
would
far
hope so.
away.
Training camp opens.
Yeah, the season.
I
is
would say
starting.
preseason's October, so
You want me to say within 2 weeks?
sure.
Within 2 weeks?
Before week 1 in the NFL, that's 2 weeks.
It'll be a little bit after. It'll drop as soon as the Jets kick off.
Okay, 1 o'clock on
Yeah.
September 11th.
No, but I do think that
Does any,
deal gets
do
done
any of
now.
these games? I think outside of the Grizzlies and the Warriors, and of course Bucks and Celtics, those are always good ones. None of these games really move me.
I feel like these
They
games
got
are
the
played
Lakers
out.
and Knicks in there.
These games are played out.
There's
Like,
no new rivalries.
Bucks
I mean,
and Celtics was 2021. We saw Lakers Mavs was 2020. That was 2 years ago. I mean, Knicks Sixers was 5 years ago, 2017. But I just feel like these games they're like recycling the same Christmas Day matchups. I think we
they're
need
trying to build rivalries, and it
to your
doesn't
point
work.
about the young teams. Like throw some of them on Christmas Day. Like you know,
Minnesota and Memphis could have played.
give us some
Minnesota
different
and the
teams.
Pelicans would have been a great series.
Yeah.
Would have been a
Would've
nice one.
great game.
I mean, like, what's going on here? Like, they tried that. They tried to put Atlanta on last year. They got fucking obliterated. So there's that. I don't.
That's the risk with putting teams that are young on, though.
Have them play each other. Have
I mean, I
the
think
Pelicans and the
Pelicans and Minnesota
and
would have been
some
nice.
and Wolves, Houston, one of those.
As an NBA player, would you want to play on Christmas Day? Because I wouldn't.
I think
Depends
I
on
want to
how
do it.
I
a few
think when I'm
times.
young, yeah,
Yeah.
first couple of
Depends
years
on
in the
if I have
league,
kids.
do
I mean,
it.
me personally, I have a kid, so I probably wouldn't.
Once
wanna
I'm a
play on
vet, it's
Christmas
chopped.
Day.
Once
But
I'm a
it
vet,
depends.
so.
If I was drafted to the Knicks, then yeah, I would play on Christmas Day because I could just go home. You know what I'm saying? Right there. But if I had a
If you're
kid,
away.
family, yeah, I wouldn't want to play on the Christmas. I don't think they care at this point because playing on Christmas is like a high honor for NBA players. So why are the Clippers not up here?
That's a great question.
There's been an update to the Kevin Durant trade talks.
like Donovan
Shams
Mitchell?
reported it today. And basically, Shams was saying that there are new teams that are in on KD, one of them being the Memphis Grizzlies, but they are unwilling to feature Jaren Jackson Jr. or Desmond Bane in any trade package for Kevin Durant.
That shit made me laugh.
And the Atlanta Hawks also had a trade package for the Nets. It was John Collins, DeAndre Hunter, and multiple first-round picks. And if you guys remember, the initial reports of the trade were that Sean Marks wanted 2 young stars. And a lot of Hawks fans said, we're giving the Nets 2 young stars in this trade, and Collins and DeAndre Hunter. We're unsure why they accepted it.
2 young stars.
Because they're not two fucking young stars. That's like John Collins is fucking mid, and DeAndre Hunter gets either hurt a lot or he hasn't lived up to potential. So
But the question here I want to ask you guys is, we know that basically half the league is in on Kevin Durant. But which team, if he gets traded to them, do you think are automatic title favorites, or at least favorites within their conference?
for me, the 2 teams would be Boston, and I think the Pels or Memphis if they're still in the conversation. I think those would. Because based off the deals that I've seen, the Pels would just be giving up BI and somebody else. So you would
Pelicans
still
said they
have.
don't want to give up BI.
Well, I'm saying like what I've seen, like
If they
KD and
actually get it
Zion
done.
would still be a nice low 2-man, and then Boston, of course, JB gone. You still have Jason Tatum and Kevin Durant. When you have 2 top 10 players in the world, you're gonna be one of the favorites. So I think specifically more Boston because the East at like top heavy is a little weaker than the West. You know, you just for Boston, it's really only the Bucks in your way. You know, I think they can beat Philly. I think they can beat Miami pretty comfortably right now, especially the way they beat them last year. They're only going to keep getting better, and they got better. So I think Boston would probably be my favorite right now if they do get Kevin Durant and they trade Jaylen Brown. That would be the team where it's like, okay, this was the favorite already for me in the East, but now this definitely makes them the favorite.
Originally, when I thought about this, I probably would have said any team that can realistically trade for Kevin Durant. I would say he puts them into that championship, almost favorite category. But then I thought about it a little bit more, and I was thinking kind of along the same lines as Riv. I think both the Warriors and the Celtics, although, it's easy to say, I think both those teams are still the favorites out of their respective conferences to come out and play in the finals. So I was kind of thinking, like, if Kevin Durant got traded to either the Suns or Miami, would those teams be able to stack up with either Boston or Golden State? I think originally I would have said yes, but the more I thought about it, I'm not that sure anymore. I mean, for what these teams are going to have to give up in order to get Kevin Durant, I don't know if the rest of their team around KD would even be good enough. Like, if you talk about Phoenix, for example, is KD, Devin Booker, and Chris
No.
Paul and whatever else they have good enough to beat Golden State? I don't know if we know that for sure. It's possible, but I
Golden
don't
State's beating them.
I don't even think I would say that. Yeah. So, and then same scenario with Boston and Miami. Would Jimmy Butler, Kevin Durant, and Kyle Lowry, because they're going to have to trade Bam, would that team be good enough to beat the Celtics in a series? I don't know if we know that. I think probably not. So I don't know. I mean, I think if he goes to the Warriors or the Celtics, it's just the rich getting richer, and they're guaranteed to get better and keep going to the finals. But these other contending teams, I don't even know if we're sure that they're better than the already established great teams in each conference.
I don't think Kevin Durant is going to be a Boston Celtic. Yesterday, the Celtics tweeted out on the Instagram pictures of JB. It was a thread, like 8 pictures of him. They
Are
said
they the favorites right now to get him?
Kevin Durant?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was getting into. I personally do not think Kevin Durant's going to be a Celtic. But out of the realistic options out there that teams have been rumored or Kevin Durant's been rumored to go to, it's only the Boston Celtics. They're the only team that Kevin Durant gets traded for, Jaylen Brown and whatever else, where this team is favorites. If you look at the other destinations that have been talked about or rumored about, the Warriors isn't happening. The Heat, I don't think, could trade Bam because of the trade rules with him and having been on the same team. The Pelicans is interesting, but the report I saw was they don't want to give up Brandon Ingram. They're not doing a deal centered around Herb Jones and picks, right? I don't think the Nets are interested in that. OKC is a long shot, and even if you went to OKC, that's not a championship-level team. The two that do make sense I haven't heard about are Denver and Dallas. Those are the two places that if Kevin Durant went there that maybe isn't popular right now, but if that got some steam and he was a possible destination for there, it makes sense. I would think Denver is probably centered around
I
MPJ.
would have said Memphis if they didn't make fucking Desmond Bane untouchable.
And you're not getting, or Jaren Jackson. And I don't think the Nets are interested in whoever the hell else they're
Jaren
going
Jackson,
to
I
offer.
understand. He's fucking the backbone of their defense, but Desmond Bane, bro, untouchable.
And Dallas is hard too because who are they centering this package around? Christian Wood is their second best player all of a sudden. You're not doing it around Tim Hardaway. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no one in Dallas that you could center it around. So the
Jalen
only one that
Harden.
really makes sense is Boston. I don't think it's happening. If KD sticks with the Nets, that's his best chance.
Might as well stay, man. Let's have
If
fun.
he's not going to Boston, just stay with the Nets. You and Kyrie, maybe you win a playoff series
I feel like Memphis actually has a real shot to trade for Kevin Durant.
without giving up Bane or Jaren Jackson.
They'd have to give up one of them. I think they'd give up Bane
They
because
should.
Jaren Jackson is their backbone. Like you said, he's the backbone of their defense. It's pretty simple to me. If I'm Memphis, I trade Desmond Bane. It's a no-brainer for me. If you can have Ja, KD, you
Don't
still
even
have
know what
Dylan
they're
Brooks,
doing.
you still have JJJ. That's still an awesome team. And Adams is one of the best screeners in the league who creates a lot of open looks in the paint. So I think it's a no-brainer. If I'm Memphis, they have the young players, they have the assets, they have the depth to make a trade for Kevin Durant and not be completely depleted. And that's not the case for a lot of other teams. But you guys are right. I think the teams that KD makes favorites are the Celtics.
The the favorites.
the
Who are the
Yeah.
favorites?
Yeah, are teams like that even go to say that they want to get in on a sweepstakes?
I hope not.
But one team that I think he makes the favorites, and even though they'd give up significant assets, is the 76ers. I think even if they trade Tyrese Maxey and Tobias Harris, and you have Harden, KD, and Embiid, they're the favorites in the East.
So we're trying this Harden KD thing one more time.
Yes.
Third time's a charm.
They're cool again now.
Not only does he want to build a new big three after we just left the big three era, but he wants to stack the decks again because Harden can't seem to win without stacking the decks.
Is that,
and even that he still can't
is
win.
that stacking the deck, though?
You called the Harden an all-star, right? Kevin
Yeah,
Durant
he
is a
is.
top 10 player.
Yeah.
Embiid is also a top 10 player. What happens when you have two top 10 players and an
Their
all-star player?
depth is
what does
not.
that make
Their
you?
depth is not as.
What does that make you?
They don't have the depth of other top.
What
teams,
does that
though.
make you?
But do you think that's by far the favorite in the East?
That would, if you get Kevin. First of all, you're gonna trade Tobias fucking Harris and Tyrese Maxey.
Shit ton
Throw
of
them,
picks.
throw them 4 or 5 picks. They're not giving up.
Well,
PJ.
what picks do they
PJ
have?
can't get traded.
How many picks they give for Harden?
Not a lot.
Like
Philly?
maybe, like 1 or 2 maybe.
PJ can't get traded right now. Melton can't get traded right now. So it's really just Tobias, Maxey, maybe Thibault, picks. You still have the guys you said that move the needle. You still have those 2 guys. Yeah, that makes them the favorite in the East, bro. You know it does.
To you, I'm asking
yes,
you.
to me, it makes them the favorite in the East. You
Oh,
have,
I know. That's why I said they're the
I
favorites
know,
if they
but
get
you
them.
have Embiid, Kevin Durant, James Harden. How does it not?
I think that sounds wonderful.
I know you do.
It's a cute team.
It's
It
crazy.
sounds awesome. I would love to see that. Wouldn't you guys love to see that?
Boston's
No.
beating them.
I like the era we're in now.
Yeah, I'm not itching
Whatever.
to see that. I
The
think
2 superstar combo is tough.
it's better. I think you're right. I
But you
think
guys don't think Harden's a superstar anymore.
Well, I like the
Two-star-
superstar,
superstar
all-star.
plus star.
Yeah, I like this combo. The duo league is much better than the big 3 league.
oh yeah.
But I know you want Harden to get a ring, so I get it.
Because
You have to
there's no
fiend.
team that has 2 top 10 players right now.
No.
You have to fiend right now. You're desperate right
Outside,
now.
the Clippers are close.
The Clippers are close. Yes,
The Clippers are
they're the
close.
closest.
Lakers are close if AD ever gets back to whatever the hell he was.
But even if AD's back, I mean,
Talking about stacking a deck, and you were a big advocate for the Clippers getting John Wall.
John Wall.
John Wayne,
what? What are you talking about, bro?
John Wayne played ball in like a year, bro. Is that stacking?
We
enough?
comparing that to Kevin Durant.
Weren't you on here the other day saying you want go to sit to
wasn't
get
here the other
Carmelo
day.
Anthony?
I wasn't here the other day.
You said you want to go to sit to get Carmelo.
I've never in my life advocated for a Carmelo Anthony anything.
Oh my god.
Philly
You-
need to get him.
You just compared John Wall to James Harden. I hope you realize
I think
that.
No, I
I think
was
you compared him
joking.
to Kevin Durant.
No, I was joking.
He definitely did.
But
compare.
I know that makes them favorites, but I would love to see that.
I know you.
Harden needs a championship,
Look, the need part.
and Embiid needs one too, based off our conversation where he ranks.
He just needs to get there.
27 though.
And
He
B just needs to get
the
there.
Eastern
ECF.
Conference Finals. Like, figure that out first.
We're Harden needs to win it.
Harden needs to
All
win,
right?
yes, because Harden has had multiple opportunities too.
How? He's
I'm
had
saying
one.
I'm saying in the West, at least he's gotten there. Embiid hasn't gotten the second round,
He's had 2 opportunities to get to the finals.
and he got hurt, and then
He
with the
went to
Nets,
the finals before.
unfortunately.
He had
And
the
his
one,
second best player got hurt.
he had the one opportunity where they were up 18 and they smoked 27 straight threes. And then he had the next year where Kevin Durant got hurt and they let Steph Curry have 33 in a second half.
He smoked 23 straight.
No, I
threes?
said they. I said they.
Okay,
smoked
okay.
But he
27
missed a
straight
ton of them.
And then the
Don't
next
get me
year,
wrong.
Kevin Durant got
There's
hurt
a
and they
reason,
still
actually.
lost. Yeah,
There's
come
a
on,
reason?
bro. He had opportunities.
He was 0 for 11 that game.
I know you said there's a reason though.
Ariza,
Ariza.
Oh,
PJ
Ariza.
Trevor
Ariza.
I thought you said
Eric
there's a
Gordon.
reason.
But you have to go, yo. After this episode, Dehls, I want you to go look up on YouTube, and I want you to actually look at the 27 threes they took. They're stupid ass shots. Like all of them are stupid.
Just
ass.
jocking.
Just pull up, step back.
Yeah.
Eric Gordon coming up, brick. It's really bad. It's so embarrassing. But yeah, Harden's he's never winning a championship, bro. I told you that like 4 years ago.
You can keep that same energy.
I will always keep
Jets are losing
saying
10-0.
The Jets are losing 10-0
Yeah.
to the freaking backups.
Kyle
You're gonna
Pitts,
see.
yard catch.
Keep down James.
Does anybody like KD to Toronto? Does that make them anything?
I don't like KD to Toronto personally.
That's interesting. I mean, you're just gonna have to rely on a young team with Kevin Durant to take a next step, and we haven't seen Kevin Durant solo lead a team yet. So
Okay. I mean, why is Desmond Bain untouchable?
Yeah, when you're talking about Kevin Durant, that's nuts.
He is one of the best 3D players in the league.
But it's like Kevin Durant.
He is untouchable for them, but not for a guy like Kevin Durant. I
That's what I'm
agree.
saying. Yeah, like Kevin Durant. Like
But he should be untouchable for them, though.
yeah, any other player outside of the top 10, sure, yeah, but
Bryce Hall got cooked by Kyle Pitts.
they just making anybody untouchable nowadays.
Another report came out about the Knicks, and it was Mark Berman who reported it. So the Knicks are re-engaged with the Jazz on trade talks around
Another
Donovan
topic
Mitchell.
I'm just sick of.
And the Knicks believe Mitchell takes them from a 37 to a 47 win team.
Wait, who?
The Knicks
Oh, the
believe
Knicks.
Mitchell takes them to a 10-win improvement. But the problem is they don't want to trade a bunch of assets because they're going to be left with none, and they won't be able to make another big-time trade later down the line because they know Mitchell makes them a very good playoff team, but not a championship-level team, and I think that's fair. But an interesting quote in here from Mark Berman was that there is a belief around the NBA that Thibodeau would prefer to include R.J. Barrett in a deal instead of Quentin Grimes because he is a better defender and three-point shooter.
Okay.
This is the coach you called above average. And I watched that clip.
This is a
It's
rumor.
a great clip.
This is the coach that you said was above average. He has fallen off a fucking cliff.
You're
ever since he left
you're
Chicago.
about to make a conclusion on Tom Thibodeau based off a rumor.
No, he's been a
Do you
pretty
believe the rumor?
He's been a
Sorry.
pretty bad coach.
Do you believe it?
I personally don't believe this.
So wait, so you believe the other report? I can't believe this one.
What other report?
We were just talking about reports, and you
Oh,
was like,
the
I
deal
be-
almost done.
The trade.
You believe that? I can't believe this one.
There's the two first. Unprotected.
But that he's saying there's a belief around the league that
He's
Tom
saying-
Thibodeau prefers.
Yeah,
Grimes
can I
over
believe that
RJ?
report? Or
You can believe what you want.
thank you. I just wanted.
I'm
to
not
make-
telling you what to
I'm just-
believe and
I'm
what
just
not
making-
to
I'm
believe.
just making-
I just personally don't believe Tom Thibodeau would think this.
Yeah, I think it's the
It's
way that's
ludicrous if he
phrased.
does.
The way that's phrased, a belief around the league. It's like us like sitting around a table. Like,
That's hilarious.
what is Tom Thibodeau like? Oh, he likes defense. He likes 3-and-D. What would he typically like? Oh, he would like Grimes instead of RJ. I think if I'm reading into the language of it, it's kind of like that. First of all, I don't know why the Knicks would say Donovan Mitchell makes them a 10-win improvement, because if I'm the Jazz hearing that, I'm like, okay, so we're giving up our guy you think is that good, and we're getting back your players that you think make you a 37-win team, and we're giving you a guy that makes you 10 wins better, and we're getting those guys back. Why would I want to do that if I'm
Because they want to
Utah?
tank for Victor Wembanyama.
Okay, I mean, if they want to tank, then I said to you a while ago that the Jazz should tank this season. So, I mean,
Victor Wembanyama.
I'm with that. But if I'm, we heard a while ago that Danny Ainge wants to build around Donovan Mitchell. So if that's true, then I don't know why the Knicks would say that and they would believe that. But in terms of the Tom Thibodeau thing, I think the language of it it's people speculating based on the history of Tibbs and the players he likes to play with. If it's true, I mean, it's not correct. The Knicks should not listen to it because R.J. Barrett is going to outlast Tom Thibodeau with the Knicks, pretty much guaranteed.
I mean,
So
based off
that's all it is.
Based off Tibbs' history, I watched him bring Taj Gibson, Jimmy Butler, and Derrick Rose to damn near every team he's been on.
Yeah, he loves his players. He loves his
So,
guys.
I think he loves RJ.
I hope so.
I hope so, too.
I really do hope
That's
so.
That's your superstar.
Yeah.
I really can tell he loves Randall. He's riding or dying with that one, so I can tell he loves Randall. What do you think, Nicker? Mr. Knicks guy?
Whoa.
That was close.
No, I know what I was saying. I know what I was saying, bro. People are gonna take that out of proportion. I can just tell already.
What?
That was crazy. That was so crazy. That was so crazy.
I'm sorry, I just never been called that in my life. I think it's a ridiculous thought. I mean, RJ averaged 20 last year in his third season. He's quite clearly the star. I mean, to me, it's less about this and more about whether or not Tom Thibodeau would make Quentin Grimes untouchable in a
It's
Mitchell
crazy.
deal.
That's so crazy.
Which I think if he's the player that's holding back this entire deal, then
Shit is
I frankly
embarrassing.
don't know why it's happening. Because Quentin Grimes, even with RJ here, even with if Mitchell does come here, there's really little room for Quentin Grimes to start and actually be a main guy on the team. You have Brunson that you're paying, who's going to be a main guy. RJ's a main guy. If you bring in Mitchell and Grimes is not in the deal, he now is a backup. He's not going to start for the next 4 to 5 years.
Sure.
So there really isn't an avenue for Quentin Grimes to have a role that's much more than a six-man role or a valuable contributing bench player, which is valuable. But for me, I can understand why people would think this about Tom Thibodeau because Grimes is the prototypical player that Tom Thibodeau likes. But that being said, I think this quote puts Quentin Grimes in a bad light because he's being compared to RJ. But Quentin Grimes is a very good player. And would I be shocked if Quentin Grimes goes to Utah and he's averaging 16 next year? I would not. I think Quentin Grimes is going to be a very good player in the league. I think he's going to be very, very good. He's going to be very, very good.
I think it puts RJ in a really bad light if you were just speculating because he's being compared to Quentin Grimes, and basically it implies that people think that Quentin Grimes has a higher ceiling than RJ. Which
Crazy. It's crazy.
Normal people
Quentin Grimes
don't
averaged
believe.
6 points per game.
Yeah, normal people don't believe
Showed
that.
flashes, but 6 points per game.
What we keep implying about it, like Tibbs
It's
is
a problem.
Tibbs is behind the scenes, so we're supposed to think that behind the scenes, like he knows the team best, he knows the players best. It just puts RJ in a bad light to, compare him to Grimes and both of their ceilings.
What's your problem with Quentin Grimes?
No, your projection skills are just, he can go and average 60. God damn, like, oh my
He
God.
can't average 16. Is that crazy?
He averaged 6.
In a rebuilding Utah environment where he's going to be the number one option?
I don't
That's
know if
crazy.
I don't know if he's gonna be the number one option. I don't
Why
know.
wouldn't he?
You just projecting that he could be the number one and thrive? Like that's a.
Name me
leap.
somebody outside of Donovan Mitchell in Utah that's a scoring option.
I don't disagree with that. I'm
Outside
just
of-
saying
and
Quentin Grimes is going to go be
And
the number one and
I'm
just thrive.
I'm
just
under the
easy.
assumption that if they trade Mitchell, they're trading Bogdanovich
No, they're
too.
gone.
They're trading
Yeah.
Conley. Yes, Quentin
But
Grimes is the
it's-
number one.
I
there.
think Conley's gonna be there for a while because it's gonna be tough to find a deal for him anyways.
True.
And I think Bogdanovich is gonna take some time too because he has not a big contract, but it's a $19 million deal. Clarkson's
Probably
gonna be
off it.
there. He can probably get deals.
he
the
can get
fastest.
traded pretty.
Yeah, so
fairly
it's
quickly.
you
I
know
would love Jordan Clarkson.
I don't know.
I'm talking about Bojan.
Oh.
I think he can get traded fairly quickly.
Think so?
Yes,
I think
19
this,
mil is not a lot.
This is a more of a philosophical question. I think if you're a Knicks fan,
Elaborate.
But why do you think Grimes can't do that?
I was just laughing because it's just funny how you just
Do
projected.
you think
all
Cam Reddish can do it?
that. I don't know. That's a lot to ask. Going to another team, be the number one option with no. They don't have a coach. They
Bro.
don't have a coach.
well,
My bad. Bro.
you did it twice. Like, it was just
I don't know. That's tough. I wouldn't project that. I would just hope he starts and goes hoop.
going back to philosophical questions. So Joel, let's have a conversation here. I think the biggest or the real question that people are asking here, or that this question's asking us, is do you want to extend RJ Barrett? Right? He's due a 5-year, $185 million contract is what he's going to be eligible for next year, I want to say.
What's his draft class again? Who he came with? Ja Moran,
Jazz.
All-Star,
Yeah.
Zion.
MVP,
Zion.
a level. Zion, generational. Who else? Jaren Jackson, he come with Jaren? He didn't come with
No,
Jaren
not
Jackson.
Jaren
Darius
Jackson. I don't remember
Garland.
who else
Darius
was in that.
Garland, All-Star. So he's behind.
So,
Okay.
but he is due for a 5-year, $185 million extension.
And they all got their bag.
Yeah, well, Zion got his for sure.
Ja,
Yes.
Garland got his.
So if you go and trade for Mitchell, we know you have to give up all of your assets, right? You have a bunch of draft picks. Some of them are shit. Other of them are pretty good. Your unprotected first, I think, would be looked at as valuable from teams. Then you pay RJ Barrett 5 years, $105 million. You're already paying Brunson $25 million. Not a bad contract by any means, but a decent amount of your cap. And you're also probably gonna. I mean, Mitchell's ready to getting paid like $32 million. His contract really isn't that bad.
I don't want to interrupt you, but the Knicks have to offer Barrett the extension before this upcoming season.
Before the season
starts.
This summer, they have to offer it to him.
Like the one we're in now.
Yeah.
So like
So-
when October hits, it's over.
Yeah.
LOL.
So then you are stuck. I don't want to say stuck in a negative connotation, but
No,
you
you're
are
stuck.
stuck with RJ Barrett, Brunson, Randall, and Donovan Mitchell. That is a good team for a team that struggled for our entire lives, a team that really has not been competitive for most of our lives. You're going to be a second-round exit team. Probably that's your ceiling. Now, are you comfortable with that being your ceiling? You're a competitive team year in and year out. You guys are going to win games. It's going to be fun to watch the Knicks, but you're not going to
Well,
be championship level.
You say it's their ceiling, but RJ can get better. Brunson can still slightly get better. Mitchell can slightly get better. I think we've seen Randall at this point what he is, but those three can still get better.
They could get better, but if we already know Randall's limit, and this is your core,
It's mainly based on
you're relying on other teams to break up.
that, but I think it's more you're relying on if you pay RJ that money, then you are under the belief that he's going to be better than what he is right now. You think he'll be a star, and Mitchell's already a star, and they paid Brunson because they believe he can be an all-star
Are
level
you winning a
player.
championship without a top 10 player on your team?
Me, I don't believe that, but there's a way you can crack and get into the finals. The Heat did it.
I'm paying RJ.
That's fair.
That's not a question.
Yeah.
I'm paying him.
I don't disagree, but just in this world where this is your core, if the East looks how the East does for the next 3 or 4 years, you might get to the ECF one year. We saw the Hawks do it.
And this is why it's important to not give up all our assets in a Mitchell trade. Because we'll trade for Mitchell now, but somebody come available later on, hopefully Zion, and we're going to trade for him too. And then we can have RJ, Mitchell, and Zion. And he's a top 10 talent.
I think that's the way you have to think about it, right? Because
sorry to cut you off.
Go ahead.
Sorry to cut you off.
Go ahead.
Why would Zion want to leave the Pelicans to go to the Knicks?
If they
Who
succeed.
knows? Wow, if they succeed, that's a different story.
Well, I mean, you
But
have them
When has
succeed.
any superstar decided I want to go to the Knicks?
He said he's
Melo.
He said he loves playing in New York.
LeBron
Zion.
said that.
But
LeBron
Zion
said
that's
that.
his favorite
D-Wade
place.
said
LeBron,
it.
yeah.
Zion
Michael
said
Jordan
that's his
said it.
favorite
Steph
place
has
to
also
play.
said it.
Everyone says
You know,
it.
Michael Jordan was about to be a Knick, right?
And he didn't.
I
And
feel
he
like we
wasn't.
can make this story
No,
about
but
15 players.
No,
Yeah, we can.
he was a phone call away though.
Oh, that's interesting.
That story was
wasn't,
told.
but
Yo,
he
I'm
wasn't.
sure a lot of guys were about to be a Knick. How many of them are Knick? You only had Melo. The one guy
at that time we made
the
the
one
finals,
guy
though.
that the two big free agents that you've had
Same
since
year.
like 06 is Melo and Amari Stoudemire. And Amari Stoudemire didn't last because he kept getting hurt. Shout out to Amari. He was really nice that 1 year. And Melo. Ever since then, you have been praying and hoping, and you keep saying people are going to come, and nobody's coming. New York is not that destination you think it is no more. Nobody's going there.
Well, right now I'm just focused on getting Donovan Mitchell, which we're gonna bring him home.
At this rate, you're going to have to send what you don't want to send, which is a lot of assets.
Danny Ainge he's not in a rush to get this
GM
deal
isn't
done.
a fleece god, so you need to stop thinking he is. That's
Danny
not
Ainge is the one that fleeces.
I think we'll make this trade and it'll be a reasonable trade. I don't think people are gonna look
What's
at this trade.
reasonable? Give me like
Four unprotected first and maybe Fournier and maybe OB or Grimes or one of those guys.
So that's what Danny Ainge is asking for, though.
Yeah, and I don't think that's a fleece because we have 8 tradable first round picks.
A lot of them are shit, though.
Not a lot. We have Detroit's
like half
picks.
of them.
Well,
We
but
they're
have-
like they're like lottery
your picks
protected
become
and
shit if you guys make the playoffs.
But also the picks they have are lottery
lottery
protected.
protected picks can become high draft picks.
They could also convey into nothing or seconds.
not nothing.
They
will
could,
convey into something.
but yeah, it could be like top 58 protected second round pick.
It's
Like
not gonna-
literally, I've seen Celtics
but-
make the deal
but
for that before.
those aren't the protections on the picks the Knicks got though.
I know, but some of them convey into
Well, I
seconds.
mean, if you
No, most of them are high, are first. As each year goes on, they convey into higher picks.
well, clearly not because the
What do you mean? Clearly not. This is the future.
No, I'm saying clearly not. Your picks aren't that good because Utah didn't even like the 5 picks you sent.
What 5 picks?
Well, they were with protections on them too. They weren't.
But if
unprotected
the
picks.
protections are, if you get a protected pick and you get the pick the season after, then the first pick the team that you're getting it from, the pick must not be that good because
What 5 picks are you talking about though?
4 or 5, whatever the report was, I forgot the number.
It was 2 first.
It was like what 2 unprotected and then 2 protected first.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. So the 2 protected first, what was they from? The Washington Wizards or the Charlotte Hornets? Like them shits are ass, bro. I'm sorry,
The Wizards picks can be good though.
but I don't think they go over into next season, or I think Danny Ainge would have been okay with those picks.
Yeah, they don't go over into. They're protected for next year, but over time they do become high value picks.
How far down
I was
the
gonna
road?
say some of these are like
It
2026.
just depends if the
2020.
Wizards
26.
if the Wizards continue, if they're really, really bad this year, then yeah, they're gonna have a protection on that pick.
That's
The-
a
If,
gamble.
the
if
Wizards-
they exceed expectations, that pick will
The Wizards
convey.
is protected 1 to 14 in 23, 1 to
That's
12
lottery.
in 2014, 1 to 10 in 2025, or 2024. I think I said 2014. 2024, 1 to 10 2025, 1 to 8 in 2026.
You don't get that pick until realistically, if they're shit for how long we think they're gonna be, you don't get the pick till like 2027.
that it says top 13 protected this year, top 14.
14. It's lottery protected.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Wizards they have a chance to make the play in this year.
Maybe
They have a chance. I mean,
They
their
can
team
still-
is not bad.
they could still fall out, but yeah, I can see what you're saying. They have a chance.
So best case scenario,
It's a
we
lot of
get the
gambling.
14th pick. Worst case scenario, next year we get the 13th pick or whatever.
It's protected 1 to 12 in 2024.
Yeah, I mean,
It's gambling. I get it.
it's
a
still
gamble
a
game.
good pick though. It's not a
It's
horrible
not shit. It's not as bad as I thought it was.
I know
apologize.
it's not.
Unless the Washington is shit, then you don't get to pick at all.
Which is possible.
Next year, Washington will be shit.
Yeah,
Like,
they don't
maybe
have a
not
good
this year,
roster.
but next year they will definitely be.
Why
shit.
this year, not next year?
This year they'll probably be okay, fighting for a playing spot. But next year, Bradley Beal definitely. I'm willing to gamble will probably be gone.
You've been saying that for the last
We
3
haven't
years.
said it for a minute.
We have. Just like you've been saying, people are coming to New York for the last 5, 6.
And Mitchell's gonna come.
Yeah, I
he
know.
not?
You've been saying that.
But didn't we just sign the best point guard on the open market this past
Point guard
offseason?
market was shit
That was
this
it
year.
was
I mean,
We just brought
Look,
Brunson.
Jalen Brunson's the
wasn't
best
he like
point
the
guard in
best
open
free
market.
agent player?
We
this
just
year?
brought Brunson home.
He wanted to go there. Didn't you guys hire his dad?
Did.
He's on our staff. Yes.
What the fuck?
You guys tampered.
Well, he's friends with Thibodeau, been on his staff
Oh
before.
yeah, come on.
And
yeah.
you tampered.
You did
You didn't
tamper.
even get them fair. Like you didn't even,
Every
couldn't even
team
do it fair.
tampers.
I know. You got caught. Not every
The
team.
Bulls got caught, too.
Not every team gets.
How many
caught, though.
teams actually offered Brunson? I think it was just you and Dallas.
I don't
Dallas
know,
wasn't
but
as
all I know is
competitive.
that we got
The
a
market wasn't even big for
They
him.
we got a
didn't, no.
marquee free agent with Jalen
The
Brunson.
Heat, he had to visit with the Heat. Have heat with everyone though.
They didn't even have money. What
No.
was they gonna do?
On to the next topic. The Warriors won the finals this past season. Curry, 4-time champion. Draymond, Clay, 4-time champion. All that good stuff. Now, do you think the Warriors can repeat again this season? Should they be favorites to win it all this season again?
Yes, I think they can repeat though. I think all trolling it feels good sitting back like that, right? Yeah,
Yo,
yeah. Come
My
on.
back. Sorry.
bro,
back
moaned when he
is
said
He
tight.
did
that.
mo. He's lucky he didn't do it in the mic. Like he just backed up.
Said,
My
Um,
back is tight. My back is tight. My back.
You're back. You was working out.
My back is tight. Nah, I just got a little muscle that's tight back there.
My muscle up here is really sore. I was working on the
need a
shoulders.
massage sponsor.
You do right?
Tough.
That would be fucking fire.
Yeah.
But we, some real like I just want a massage. No
I
extra
heard
shit.
Rivers good with his hands.
Where do you got soft hands?
Who told you that?
Gets around.
Gets around. You guys are sick. Yeah, the Warriors can repeat. They brought the core back. Steph looked as great as ever. Clay finally gets a full offseason to just work on his game, not rehab from an injury. They brought in players that could fit well in the system, DiVincenzo, Jermichael Green, and then year 2 from the young guys, year 4 or 3 for Jordan Poole, year 2 for Moody, Kuminga, Wiseman comes back. I think they pretty much bring everybody back. They did lose Otto Porter. They did lose GP, but that system is so amazing. They can make other players look good. DiVincenzo is going to be fine in the system, and they still got Steve Kerr. So I think they can repeat. I think the only team right now that scares me is the Clippers for them because I think their small ball lineup, their switchable defense. They have Kawhi Leonard, who is as great as who is just as great in a playoff series as Steph Curry. They have Paul George. They have a lot of depth. They have Ty Lue, who's a great coach. So I think that's a team that definitely scares me. And then in the East, Boston got better. The Bucks are still around. So, there's some teams that are going to be dangerous. But in the West, just talking specifically, Memphis is getting older, but I don't think they're going to have the experience to beat us. Phoenix, I was never worried about them when it came to the Warriors. I'm still not worried about them. So I think they still should be the favorites coming out the West. They have the team. They have the coach. They have the best player. Well, they have one of the best players in the league, and I think they should definitely be favorites to repeat.
Yeah, I don't have much to add to that. I mean, I think the Warriors are in a unique situation where, they had those years when they were bad, when Steph was hurt, and they were able to retool. They made a mistake not taking LaMelo Ball. I mean, we know that would be ridiculous if they, had a young core like that, in addition to having Curry and all the guys they've already been able to win with. But, I mean, unless something significant happens, like Kevin Durant gets traded to the Western Conference and, becomes another contender along with the Clippers and, I guess Memphis is another one. But I think those teams like the Grizzlies, like the T-Wolves, like the Pelicans, I think those teams are in a situation where they're just too young at this point to really compete with the Warriors. And the other teams, the Lakers, nobody trusts them. They're getting very old. The Clippers, we can't trust them until they prove us wrong. I mean, they've been too injury prone. They blew their leads to Dallas, multiple times. So I just think that the teams in the West are too unreliable, and the Warriors are the peak of consistency and reliability. So for me, I agree with Rib. I think the East has the best chance. I mean, we know that they're the better conference now. Milwaukee just won the championship.
We know that?
I think we know that.
The East is the better conference.
Yeah, I
Did
think
we
it's
have a debacle about that?
We did, for sure.
really. Yeah, I mean, it's
I
hard
think the
to
West
know.
is deeper.
See, I would have said the East is deeper and more
I think I said
competitive.
the East is deeper. The West is top heavy.
Yeah, I think I agree
I don't
with
think
that.
the West is top heavy. I think the West has balance.
Oh, yeah, you do think that nonsense.
It's not nonsense.
He thinks Minnesota is
fact.
just as good as the top
right, and
teams.
they are not. So
Well, they have 4 All-Stars.
There it is.
Here we go.
There we go.
Love it.
Semantics. D-Lo.
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 The Warriors, the question, obviously they can repeat.
Stop hating.
Yeah, I'm not hating.
I
I just
can
said
just
y'all
sense
can
your energy.
repeat.
The
I
energy
just
is-
said you guys can repeat.
The energy at the table.
The question is, rhetorical.
Oh, okay.
Almost, right? They can repeat. They just won the championship. All of the guys are still there. Steve Kerr is still there. So, what was that?
What are you talking about, bro?
Yeah, okay. But there's some people at this table that think there are 8 competitors or 8 competitive championship level teams
Don't say
in the
some.
West.
Just say Joel.
You know, some more than others. In the Western Conference, 8 teams that could
West
potentially
is
go
very,
ECF
very
or WCF run, finals run possibly. I do think the Warriors run is going to be more difficult this year to get to the finals. I think last year you see round 1 against Denver without MPJ and Jamal Murray. Then round 2, Ja goes down, even though it did win some games without Ja. Then smoked Dallas in 5. With no injuries, really, but just not the most talented team we've really seen. I think this year it would be a more competitive West. I think it would be a tougher road to the finals. I do think the Warriors will ultimately get there again. But when you have the Pelicans bringing over Gobert, expecting Anthony Edwards to take a leap, the Nuggets getting healthy, the Clippers getting healthy, the road's going to be tougher. You're not going to have as many breaks. At least you would hope that not all these guys get injured. But I think if you look at the other side of the bracket, comparatively to the Warriors last year, what the Celtics went through, I'm expecting something more similar to that, where the Celtics had to play a really talented Nets team. Even though they swept them, all those games were close. There wasn't blowouts, right? Then you go 7 against the Bucks and 7 against the Heat, 2 really physical teams. So I'm expecting a harder run to the finals, but ultimately the Warriors will still get there. But the Celtics taking the chip this year.
I think the Western Conference is the most competitive conference in the NBA.
Can I help you?
What'd you say?
I said the Warriors will get to the finals.
Yeah. Skip.
But the Celtics will win the chip this year.
So you'll beat us.
Yes, correct. We got a long way to go, but we'll be there.
You got to get there. You got to get back there. We
So
know
do
what
you.
it takes to get back there.
I know.
Though. You don't understand what it takes.
I think
we do.
To get back?
We went to 2 ECFs.
It's not getting there.
I know, but we know how hard it takes to get there.
Is it getting there?
No, but we know how hard it takes to get there
You know how
now.
hard it
We know
takes
how
to-
it takes to get to the finals.
Oh.
We were one step
Get
away
back.
twice.
Boston
one
has
game away.
Boston has a chance. Are they going to win it? No,
Okay.
they're not going to win it.
You think there's
Because you
gonna
got
be
to
there's
worry.
fucking 8
some
You
teams
got
in the
to
West that
worry
can win the
about Philly.
finals.
You got to worry about Philly. That's a fact.
Philly is literally the last team
Your
I'm worried
path is
about.
easier than ours this year.
Yes, probably.
The Western Conference to me is by far the better conference than the East. They have the top heavy teams like the Warriors, like the Clippers.
But who else besides
He
them?
thinks the Kings are a lock in the East. So this
No, I didn't. They're playing lock.
Name
for
me
sure.
all the teams that have a strong chance to win the championship
Name
out of the
me-
West.
name
Oh
me-
my God, bro! We went on
Oh,
like a
he's
45.
last
minute-
year- I don't wanna
do it
he
again.
said
I don't
he
wanna
said
do it
8
again.
teams. He
Last
said there was
year-
8 teams
last
that
year-
could make a WCF run.
Last
8.
year, Minnesota was a 7 seed. Correct.
But nobody thought they were going to win the championship.
No, I know, but this is my point. This past season, a 7 seed in the Eastern Conference was Brooklyn.
Yeah.
That's a bad example. I just didn't.
I'm glad you realized
The
that.
8th seed was the Pelicans. Correct.
Okay.
The 8th seed in the East was the Hawks. I do think the Pelicans are significantly better than the Hawks when you add Zion to that equation.
Yeah, probably. But
You look at the
Hawks,
playing teams.
the
I
Hawks made
think
the East Finals.
you look
2
at
years
the you look
ago.
at the yeah. I don't care. That was a fluke. You look at the playing teams. You have the Hornets, and you also have the Cavs in the playing in the East. I think the playing in the West this year is going to be far more competitive.
You do know the Nets were in the play.
Yeah, as a 7 seed. I'm talking about like the teams that didn't make the playoffs though. Like I think in the West there's room for ambiguity in the West.
Top charger.
In the West is going to be very, very random. I think the East is highly predictable this season.
So who's your playing teams in the West?
The Kings and Portland.
Okay, like the teams that not make it. Those are the.
I
9
think
and 10.
they'll be a playing team, and I think the teams that make the playoffs in the West: Warriors, Phoenix, Denver, Memphis, Minnesota, the Pelicans, the Clippers are there.
Yeah, but I only hear like 1 or 2 teams I think can win the championship.
How many
Oh,
teams
here we
can make
go.
the conference finals?
Here we go.
Can make the
Here we
conference
go.
finals. I mean,
They have to beat somebody.
like
Somebody
I guess like it expands to 3
And
or
I
4.
forgot about the Mavericks too.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think they can win the championship, but they can make the finals, I guess.
So
Can they, though?
Luka can't go on a run.
Here we go.
Right. I mean, their
Have your
team
fun.
got better. Well, actually, did it get better losing Brunson and adding Christian Wood
And JaVale McGee.
Don't say a word.
And JaVale
and
McGee.
JaVale McGee? Okay. I just
The reason they thought Brunson was replaceable is because they brought in Dinwiddie. I mean that midseason trade was basically an insurance policy. Dinwiddie was really great in the playoffs.
yeah, but
And
do
playing
you think-
alongside
do you think
Luka-
he's better than
Luka-
Jalen Brunson?
I don't think he's better than him.
Right.
I don't think Dinwiddie is too far off from him, though.
Then that's bad that the Knicks paid Jalen Brunson as much as they did.
Why? The Wizards paid Dinwiddie $20 million a year.
Yeah, that's
As a
horrible,
starter, he wasn't that good.
That's a horrible decision to pay him that much.
That wasn't a horrible decision if he's the player you thought they were getting.
But he wasn't the player.
Yeah, but Dallas got that player. $20 million for Dinwiddie, what he's going to provide for Dallas is not a bad deal.
No. The Wizards paid $20 million to not be the guy that Dallas got. No, they paid him to be a starting point guard, starting caliber point guard.
And that's him in Dallas.
He was a backup at points.
But he's going to be the starter this year.
Yeah, now we have to see if he can go back to that role. But Washington paid a completely different guy.
I don't have to see if he goes back to that role because I've seen him play alongside Luka, and he played fine. He played really, very, very good.
That's fair. We also seen him start for Washington, and it really wasn't good.
Yeah, Washington all around was a situation that crumbled after the first 2 weeks of the season.
And we saw Jalen Brunson step up in Luka's absence.
Yes. I think Brunson's phenomenal.
Spencer Dinwiddie is not doing that.
I know. I don't think he is. But Dinwiddie also had big-time performances along with Brunson in those playoffs without Luka. He did have big-time performances. He didn't have the 40 ball Brunson had, but he chipped in with his 20. He was still doing damage.
Yeah.
He didn't eat half of the cake, but he ate a quarter of it.
I think Luka is a special player.
JaVale McGee is a huge.
He went to the West Finals essentially by himself with Brunson as his second player. But that big three of
how many teams do you have going to that can make the WCF?
I think the Warriors can make it. I think the Clippers can make it. I think the Mavs could make the Western Conference Finals. I think Memphis could make the Western Conference Finals.
Denver.
So
It sounds like you don't really believe in the last two you just said.
Wait, hold on.
I think they can make the West Finals. I'm talking about making the finals.
Stop.
Here we go.
Those are 4 teams right there that you just named.
He said 4.
Yeah.
He said Denver. Are you putting Denver in there?
Or are you waiting?
Well, my point was that they can make the finals, so we're taking a step back. I just want to make that clear.
Yeah, we're talking about the WCF right now.
The conference finals is 1 series away from the finals.
Okay,
But you have to beat the Warriors or Clippers.
Yeah, you got to beat some.
Making the finals is a bigger deal. We all understand.
Well, we're just talking about making the WCF.
But if you're the final four of the remaining 30
we're
teams
going
in the
too
NBA,
far away from the point. We gotta go back.
But if you are the final four of the 30 remaining of the 30 teams in the NBA,
what?
You are a contender.
You think so?
If you're a final four.
So in the East,
yes.
In the East, when Miami didn't have to play the Bucks and they ran through a team with Philly, who Joel Embiid missed 2 games, then they played Atlanta. Were they a contender in the East, or they just had an easy path? Because they missed Milwaukee. Boston had to play essentially the best team in the East in round 2, and then they had to play the Nets in round 1. So I'm asking you, was Miami a contender last year, or did they just have an easy path?
Last year, Miami was a contender.
So you had Miami as a contender?
Yes.
Okay.
They were a contender.
Just asking.
They took the team that went to the finals to 7.
I don't think that really equates to being a contender, but I get it.
It matters more than Dallas losing in 5.
I mean, they got to the same spot. So it's like.
Yes, but one
series was much more competitive.
So Dallas wasn't a contender?
Dallas was a contender. Why weren't they a contender?
No, I'm just making sure.
Oh, yeah, they were.
Okay. Tough.
So I'm saying, Denver can make the conference finals too.
Sure.
That's 5. What about Minnesota?
I mean, again, they could, I guess, but I think they're a step down from Memphis, Denver.
You think they're a step down from Memphis after seeing their playoff series last year?
Where they
should have
lost.
beat.
Yeah.
Here we go.
They should have beat
Should've
Memphis.
doesn't matter.
Should've
Dude.
don't
What do you
matter.
mean? They
It
blew a
should've
lead in
doesn't
almost
matter.
every single game.
If you blow the
And
lead,
they just
you blow the
added
lead.
Rudy
You're
Gobert.
talking to a Celtics
They
fan
added
about
an
blowing
all
leads,
NBA
bro,
level player, bro.
who can't play in the fourth quarter.
Casual.
Like,
No, bro. No, that's really a casual statement.
No, you really.
Well, how can he not play in the fourth quarter? He
Will,
plays in the fourth
Will,
quarter.
If you play the Warriors, what are you gonna do?
What I'm asking you, Will.
play the Warriors or
I don't
Clippers,
want
what are you gonna do?
I don't want you to.
What are they going to do?
oh my god.
I don't want you to come in here and think, oh yeah, they could. I don't want you to give that.
Okay.
I want you to answer the question.
Okay.
Can Minnesota make the WCF?
Nah,
Yes or
let-
no?
let-
Don't hit
let
him with the
Will-
could have.
let Will-
because that's
let
what he
Will-
does.
no,
it
let-
gives you too much room.
Yeah, it
It gives
does.
you too much room to be right.
no.
No, stand
No,
on it.
let
Yes or
let
no?
Will answer his questions the way he wants to answer his
Can
questions.
Minnesota make the
Right
WCF?
now, he's tempting you
said no.
to answer something differently. So
said
I'm
no.
saying, if you think Memphis can make the conference finals, but you don't think Minnesota can, I'm genuinely
He
curious
thinks
as
Memphis
to why.
is better. That's what it is.
What makes Memphis better?
John Moran.
What?
Yeah,
What
what are you,
Like,
what
do you
are-
want to say?
what are you
want
gonna say to
He's gonna
that?
say Ant. He's gonna say Edwards.
But that don't equate right now.
We
It don't.
know Anthony Edwards is going to be better than John Morant.
What the
Nobody
hell?
knows that.
You don't?
Nobody knows
Do you
that.
think
I don't.
who's better long term, John Morant or Anthony
I
Edwards?
don't give a damn about long. Who's better right now? John Morant.
You don't think
Walking
Anthony
into the
Edwards?
season, who's better? John Morant. Who just made an All-NBA? Ja Morant. Who just averaged 27 points? Ja Morant. Who just averaged 38 on the Warriors? Ja Morant. What are you talking about? What are we saying?
I think Anthony Edwards is going to be a better player.
I don't care what you think. What do we know right now? Ja Morant.
What do we know right now is that Ja Morant.
Who's All-NBA?
Ja Morant's a great player.
Has anybody on the Minnesota made an All-NBA second team?
Cat made an All-NBA team.
Ja just did it in his third season.
So you wanted to make that All-NBA second team. You wanted to say second team. You wanted to pinpoint the second team.
I'm telling you what he did
because Minnesota
three.
has 2 All-NBA players in Cat and Gobert.
That's fine.
They have 2 All-NBA players.
That's
2.
incredible.
Memphis has
that's
one.
not the guys you're gassing. You're gassing the one that don't have one.
I'm gassing
he don't
him
have an
because
all-star.
he's gonna be a top 10 player in the league.
I'm telling you what Ja already is now. He's already top 13 now. Right now. You telling me what he's going to be. I'm telling you what he's now.
This is why I don't want this to become a Ja debate because I like Ja. I love
Ja.
I love Ja Morant. I love Ja Morant. I don't like Memphis's construction around him. I know they have a lot of depth. Name me the second star on Memphis.
Well, they are a team built out of depth. Right now, they don't have a second star.
They don't even have that budding star. What you see now is what you're going to get from Memphis.
Who played better in the first round, Bane or Karl Anthony Towns? Be honest.
It was close.
It was close, right?
It was close.
But why did you just ask him that question when you just seen Mr. All NBA go toe to toe with Desmond Bane?
I think it was Cat. He played
but
better.
It was close, right?
Ultimately, it was Cat.
You're
close.
expecting Cat. Cat has the longer track history of being a great player than Desmond Bane.
What, in the playoffs?
I'm just saying generally speaking.
Regular
season for
they
sure.
They may not have a second star in a regular season, but we just watched Bane probably be the first star because he was at times playing better than Ja Morant, and they still won. Ja didn't
they
play
won
good.
Without, yes,
it's
they won without.
So it's
Ja.
like, they may not have a second star, but on any given playoff night, their depth can show up and get them that.
They have
win.
a very Memphis-y team.
Yeah, so it's like who
even
cares?
the
if they
old
don't have a
Memphis
second
teams.
star?
Cat averaged 22 and 11 and shot 49% from 2 and 46% from 3.
That's amazing. I asked you. You said it was close.
No, because Desmond Bane averaged 23 a game.
Which was
No,
my
I know.
point, but they don't have a second star.
No,
but Desmond Bane
but
can.
Ja Morant did not play like a star in that
and
series.
they won in 6.
Yes, but why did he not play like a star?
They
Why?
locked him.
Because the defensive personnel. Now,
Talking about from Minnesota, right?
70% of 70% of Ja Morant's shots come at the rim. That's how much come at the rim. Why do you get a guy like Rudy Gobert to deter shots at the rim? Is he going to be shooting at that 70% clip at the rim with Gobert there now? No, he's not. He's not.
Well, okay, if they play them, but we're just talking about if they can make the West Finals or not.
But I'm saying, but you think Memphis can make it, but Minnesota can't.
Yeah.
But Memphis has to play the same teams Minnesota has to go through. They have to go through the same teams.
Yeah.
I'll say 2 things about this. I think we just talked about what makes a superstar. We brought up Ja Morant a few times. Nobody thought about bringing up anybody from Minnesota. That's the difference, I think, in between Ja Morant and the Minnesota players.
The other thing is that we also saw Ant-Man. While he did not have a superstar-like season, we saw him in the playoffs average 25 a game.
Didn't Ja average 38?
When? In the playoffs, in the series?
Yes.
Warriors.
The next round.
Four games?
3.
He averaged 21 and shot 39% from the
No,
field.
I said the next round.
Oh, you want me to look up the next round? I'll look up the next round for you.
Well, they made it to
He
the
went
next
stupid,
round.
but it's
Minnesota
very
didn't.
small sample.
He gave him like 40.
He was insane.
He took over.
I know, he was
the
insane.
Game.
No, he
insane.
averaged
He
38.
scored, I think, 16
Yes.
points in a row.
Yeah.
Look, Ja Morant is exceptional. That's true.
When you have
Anthony
that type
Edwards
of player,
is making that leap this
But
upcoming
Ant
season.
has that ceiling.
he does.
to do
But
that.
it's just Ja is there.
Yes.
Like
He's already
his
there.
ceiling is still. He's obviously
still
he's not at
going.
his ceiling.
Yeah.
But what he showed us right now,
but
we're
Ant
waiting
can
on
take
Ant to
that
show.
year 3 whip.
But
Yes,
year 3 lead,
but-
he can. But
he
Ja
hasn't.
did it.
Josh
That's what I'm saying.
showed that, and Minnesota
Ja
had
showed that
them.
in year 2.
And Minnesota had them
And I would say
biting
too.
their nails.
Wait, what?
Josh, we classify Ja as a he's on the verge of
Rise
superstar.
of Superstar, yeah.
And Minnesota, I mean, if you have eyes that are working, you can see that they should have beat Memphis. Did they? No, they didn't. But the victory was this small of a margin. Memphis barely got out. They were biting their nails. Now you add a player in Rudy Gobert who the 2 biggest things they struggled with in that series he makes up for, rebounding and interior defense. Yes, I think Minnesota got better. They also added Kyle Anderson. That's a huge get, somebody who was important for Memphis. So now you get Kyle Anderson, Rudy Gobert, and you still have Ant-Man, D'Lo, Cat,
Please
Jaden
stop saying
McDaniels.
D'Lo's name. Like, please stop saying
Jaden
D'Lo's name.
McDaniels, who's one of the best perimeter defenders in the NBA already.
Waiting on his leap, too.
Like, Minnesota has a trajectory to go from where they are now to a championship contender. Memphis is kind of teetering in their area.
That just doesn't make sense.
I think that's the disconnect.
Yeah, that just
How
doesn't
can
make
Minnesota
sense.
make a huge leap and Memphis can't? If Memphis is a younger team,
Because
and they have
this past season, Minnesota, Cat was the first option. That's the reason why. Cat is an all-NBA player. He is deserving of that first option. But they made the Gobert trade because they are under the belief Ant-Man is a superstar, and that's the right belief because he is a budding superstar. When Ant-Man takes that leap, yes, they are a contender. When you have the talent Minnesota has on the roster, they're just waiting on that Ant-Man.
So it sounds like the conversation is who has a better roster around their superstar. Is it the Timberwolves or is it the Grizzlies?
He keeps saying Minnesota, they're on the path to stardom. Keeps talking about Ant, who's going to make a leap, who I believe he will. Jaden McDaniels, who's going to make a leap, which I believe he will. But he's ignoring the fact that Memphis also has players like John Moran, like Jaren Jackson Jr., like Desmond Bain, who's still going to take a slightly better.
Wait, you think Jaren Jackson Jr. is getting much better than he is right now?
Yes, I absolutely believe he's going to get much better. So that's where the disconnect is from here to over there. He keeps pushing. First of all, the starting five out of Minnesota, 3 of their players have peaked. Cat, Gobert, D'Lo, they peaked. We know what they're going to be. We know what they are at this point.
That's not a bad thing.
No, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but we were talking about the guys
because they peaked higher than any of those guys on Memphis will peak.
Well, I don't know, but
Jaren Jackson's not going to be as good as Cat or Gobert.
On defense, he'll be better than Cat. Offensively,
he's not a better player. It's his bottom line. That's the bottom line.
It's a wait and see. But he's talking about they're on the path to stardom, but Memphis also has young players who can say the same thing. So I don't get the disconnect.
Like who?
This is a team that just was a second seed in the league with that type of young talent. John Moran was missing. They were still winning games, and they just went to the second round.
I bet you Minnesota finishes with a better regular season record than Memphis.
I don't care about the regular season record.
Oh, you just mentioned the second seed. I think you do a little bit.
No, I'm just telling you what they did as a young team.
Okay.
They didn't have any All-NBA star to pack them. No, they all got better together as a group.
Well, right now Minnesota's getting better together as a group too.
I understand that, but the disconnect is you keep acting like Memphis doesn't, which is weird.
No, I just think Memphis doesn't have the ceiling of a Minnesota.
But you said Memphis is still dangling. No, they're just going to keep getting better.
I think Memphis, what they need is a second star. They don't have a second star. That's why a guy like KD takes them over the top. But as currently constructed, Memphis's roster is not good enough.
Saying that Minnesota has a higher ceiling than Memphis makes no sense based on the roster construction of both the teams. The Grizzlies just made the second seed with the team that they have.
And Minnesota just took that second seed to the wire. Should have beat them.
Sure,
but with the should have stuff. The experience matters. Intangibles matters. They didn't win.
Then you got to do the same should have for if Ja stays healthy against the Warriors. Do the same should have, bro.
No, because I think the Warriors are gonna beat them regardless.
I know, but Memphis gave them a real fucking fight.
Will
the Timberwolves do that?
Yep.
The Timberwolves gave Memphis a fight.
I'm saying, will they give the Warriors a fight?
They probably would have given them a fight too.
Who? Wait, what? What are you saying?
Minnesota would have gave Golden State a fight.
The Minnesota team from last year?
It was a 16 series versus Memphis. It would have been 16 series versus Golden State.
No, because Memphis is one of the teams that challenged the Warriors. The matchup against Memphis.
You think if Ja stays healthy, Memphis wins the series?
No, I don't think so.
Bias aside.
They still lose in 5
You
games.
got to do the should have regardless. You can't say, what if they didn't blow the leads?
They still lose in 5 or 6
games. Because that's where watching the game comes into play.
You're saying you're talking about blowing leads.
When I watched Memphis versus Golden State, even with Ja there, I was like, Golden State's going to win. With Memphis and Minnesota shot themselves in the foot repeatedly.
Because of what?
Lack
of experience, which matters.
But now they have that.
How do you have it by losing in 6 games?
A round one series.
Do you not get experience by losing still? You can learn your lessons.
But how? We don't know.
You learn from losing.
We don't know. We really don't know.
But
we don't know.
Don't you learn from the experience of going to the playoffs?
You learn from that experience.
Did Memphis learn?
Did Cat learn? Answer that.
Did Cat learn? Has
Rudy Gobert learned?
Did Memphis learn versus Utah in the first round? They lost in the first round 2 seasons ago.
They just got better.
But did they learn from that experience, do you think? They didn't learn or they just got better?
I think that was a different type of experience. Going down, losing to a team that's just clearly better and then playing a team that you're better than but going down repeatedly is a different type of experience.
Yeah.
So they've gained some different type of experience.
I just don't like the shoulda, woulda, coulda when you lose.
I'm just trying to figure out.
It's a 7-game series. It's not one game.
You watch Minnesota in that series, you know they should have won pretty easily.
I understand, but I don't really care.
Should have been a 5-game series in Minnesota's favor.
I don't care. Like, I don't care if
Bro
they should have
saying,
won.
They should have won.
Well, I think that
Like,
matters.
should have doesn't
There's
matter.
still-
that
no,
matters.
They have the
It
same
literally
That
doesn't
matters.
matter. It
That
doesn't.
matters. But all this came down to is because you
Move
have
off it, 'cause, yeah.
Let's
Will,
bring it back.
you
Let's bring it back.
have you have 5 teams that you think can make.
I'm glad nobody
The
said
Western
Phoenix.
Conference
I'm so
Finals.
glad.
Okay, yes, you have 5. It was Golden State, the Clippers, Denver,
Memphis.
Memphis, and then who else was the team?
Did you say Dallas?
I mean, the Mavs.
Da-
we didn't talk
Dallas
about the
were in there.
Suns.
So
Please
you don't
don't
think the
say
Suns
that.
can do
Pels.
it?
Wait, sorry. What
Can
did
the
you say?
Suns do it?
Yeah.
That's 6 teams.
We're talking about the Western Conference Finals.
What about the
I don't
Pelicans?
care.
What about the Pelicans? Can they do it
No.
with Zion fully
No.
healthy?
I don't think
They can't.
the Suns could do it.
And
either.
Minnesota
That's just-
can't do it.
they're not.
Right.
Right.
Minnesota can't do it. Okay. So my difference in opinion from yours is that I believe the 2 teams that you're not high on, I'm actually high on, and I think they can
Oh, he's
do
not
it.
high on Memphis and the Suns, and you're high on Memphis and the Suns. It's like a flip flop here. Okay.
So now, in the East, how many teams can make the conference finals?
The Celtics, the Nets, Miami.
Can the Nets?
Conference finals? Yeah. Yeah.
Philadelphia,
It's the conference
Bucks.
finals.
I don't think it's the Bucks.
the Bucks. Thank you. I'm gonna
5.
forget teams.
Pretty much
that-
it.
It's pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Pretty much it. Yeah.
And then you're comparing the teams at the bottom of the play-in and the playoffs.
Well, the
which
teams
is
that you have out on the East are the Bulls, the
The
Hawks,
the
Toronto.
Knicks.
I think the teams on the bottom of the West are better than those teams.
I agree.
I think the Pelicans and the Wolves are better than those teams.
Fair.
And that's why I think the West is a better conference.
Because they have better teams.
Yes,
Smart guy.
ultimately.
You need a
Well,
medal.
that's all we're talking
I'm
about.
saying, yeah, you need a medal for
But
that.
ultimately, I do think
See, okay, hold on. I think the East is the better conference because I think
They compete better.
those teams are more competitive with
Okay.
each other. I think the West. That's why I don't think if we
it's
expand
a
it,
clear
if
gap
we
in the
expand it
West.
further, I don't think the Grizzlies can make the finals. I don't think these teams can make the finals. So I think those teams that are in the upper echelon of the West that can make the Western Conference Finals, I don't think that
The list
they're
cuts
as
off.
competitive or as
We're
they don't
in-
have as many finals teams as I think the East has. That's where that's
the
why I
West
think
has
it's
the
better.
Warriors, the Clippers.
That's
I
it.
think the
That might
Nuggets
be
are
it.
finals team.
The East has essentially the same 4 or 5 teams that can make the finals. It's the same 4 or 5. If you want to throw the Nets in there, cool. But if not, Miami, Bucks, Celtics, Philly. Same
Yeah, and
team.
I think
Same
that's-
teams every year.
I think
pretty
that's
much.
double the
But
amount
with
of teams
my-
the West
those
has.
teams that
But
don't
with
even know if
Miami
really
losing
can.
PJ Tucker, I don't know.
And with Philly, I don't know either.
Well, you can think
what?
that.
What?
With
What
Miami losing PJ Tucker.
you brought up the PJ.
And the Nets, if KD's get traded, if he gets traded, they're out of
Well,
it.
of course.
But
So that
in the
dims
West,
down.
I
I
don't
think
have
the Nets are out of it regardless. I don't think you can
But
come
I
back
do,
from this
I do
offseason.
think there are more teams in the West that can make the finals, though. Or if there's the
I
same
don't.
amount.
I don't.
The
I
Clippers,
think
Warriors.
there's 5 teams in the West that can make the finals.
I don't think there's 5 teams in the East. I think there's 4.
Oh,
You think
I-
it's 4
I think
teams in the
I-
West that can make
4
the
is
finals?
double the West.
I don't think it's double the West.
Who's the 4 in the West that can make the finals?
If I'm
Minnesota?
tiering them, my bad. The Clippers, the Warriors. I think the Nuggets can too. I'm
Who's
not
the
sleeping
4th?
on the Nuggets. The 4th. Let me look at some teams right now.
Dallas.
Dallas. I'm not gonna put them there.
Okay.
Your
Pels.
Wolves.
Timberwolves.
I knew it. I knew that's what
They
I was
can
going
make the
for.
finals.
Are the Nuggets more proven than Brooklyn and Miami to make the finals?
Not Miami. Brooklyn. Yes.
Are they more? I mean, they both made the second round.
Yeah, but Nuggets were without their top 2 players and made it.
Okay. I mean, I think I would take the Nets to make a finals run over the Nuggets. Me personally.
Yeah. I would
But
take the Nuggets
if you
over
look
the
at
Nets.
if you look at the Nets though, the Nets at their best are probably the best team in the East.
No, they're not. Bro. What the fuck? No,
From a
they're
talent
not.
perspective?
No.
The Nets over Boston? I'm not
The
doing
Nets
that.
are not fucking better than Boston, who just swept them.
This man went from Minnesota can make the finals to, you look at the Nets, they're the best.
Like, have we not learned already, bro, that the Nets are not the best team in the East? Like, have we? How many
like-
years do we have to see
From a
this Nets
talent
team?
from a talent
No,
perspective,
they are
clearly
not
better.
more talented than Boston.
You know what's the problem with talent? It doesn't bring in coaching. It doesn't talk about the intangibles and doesn't talk about the experience.
Continuity.
It doesn't talk about continuity. It doesn't. It just talks about, looking at the paper. From
He's
what I
got
see
a
on the
bag.
paper,
He's got a bag.
he's
He could
he's there.
shoot.
Yeah, this team is better. That's why you can't just say from a talent perspective. That doesn't
Word.
mean anything.
Hold up. You just said earlier in the show that the
shit.
Nets in the Celtics series, every game was close.
It was.
So if you watched it,
We're the better team.
every game was close.
We're better coached.
Every game was
We have
close.
better
Every
role
game was
players.
close, but
Yes.
they got better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Every game was close.
Yes.
The Nets were missing players, bro.
They missed
They were
it.
we-
missing
we were-
Ben Simmons. They were missing Joe Harris.
Ben Simmons
We were
could be a
missing
negative
Rob
or a
Will.
positive though. You don't know.
We were missing
what he
Rob
is.
Will.
Are you counting on him being positive or negative?
Negative on positive on defense, negative on offense.
They needed defense.
They
needed that.
They
positive.
don't need a
You
negative on
can't
offense.
tell me 4 close games make them a better roster than us.
You can't.
A single game they didn't even win.
If you look at
like-
the Nets, bro, they play iso ball. You can't tell me Ben Simmons
And
another
also,
guy who
not
they're not gonna
not
guard is
only
gonna do
that, but they didn't have Ben Simmons. They didn't have Joe Harris. They added Royce O'Neal in the offseason. Like, they added good players.
We had
bro.
Malcolm Brogdon. We didn't have Rob Will in that series.
Well, that's good. I think
That's
the Celtics-
good. What do you mean that's
I
good?
think the Celtics are good. I think that they're
Good?
great. They're great.
What?
They're the favorites in the East.
Yes,
The
but
favorites
I
of
think
the NBA,
from a talent
Joel.
perspective,
I give them
they were-
respect.
Who gives a fuck? They were favorites. The finals projection had the Celtics winning. 81%
that
of
was
them had them
bullshit.
winning.
That was bullshit.
That's facts.
That
Not
wasn't-
not to
believe
you.
that.
You
I
thought the
didn't believe
Celtics
that.
were winning.
Of course, I'm a
You thought the
Celtics
Celtics were
fan.
winning.
We knew the
Of
truth.
course, I'm a Celtics fan. I'm gonna think my fucking team is gonna win.
Y'all were up 2-1.
I
and
want to
said
give us
y'all
an
are getting
81%
smoked still.
chance.
They was up 2-1. I said you're getting smoked still. I was right then. I'll be right now.
It's the first
That's
time you
how
were
it
right in my
happens.
life.
No, that's-
Probably.
No, it's
Yeah.
not because I'm gonna be right about Gabe Davis too. That's
No,
coming up next.
no,
That's
no,
coming up next.
no.
But keep sleeping.
How-
Real quick,
how are the Nets-
if you look at Brooklyn's roster, their roster is
I don't give a
toe-to-toe
fuck about
with
the.
your
I don't
team.
care about
It's
the
not,
roster.
because the
How
team-
are the
no,
Nets
no,
going
no,
to come
no.
back from this offseason? When KD and Kyrie said they want the GM out, they want the coach out. There's rumors about them getting traded. Ben Simmons has to fit into this. How do they come back from this offseason?
That's why you're not
roster
listening
is
to what I'm
fi-
saying.
The Nets
Bro-
aren't close
bro,
to Boston
no.
right now.
They're not.
That's why
We don't-
you're not
The
listening.
Nets. What seed are the Nets going to be? A 6, a 5 seed at best?
Boston clears.
They're not close to
They're not
Boston.
close.
No, they're not.
As a team,
Huh?
we're adding
Will,
coaches.
did you not just say that the Nets can make a finals run?
Well, I said I would take
And
them.
that's where I disagree.
I said I would take the Nets over the Nuggets to make a finals run. That's
but
what
do you
I
think they
said.
can make a finals run though?
No.
If you had to bet your money on it, probably not.
Probably not.
No.
But
If you had to bet your money, because you're taking into account these other factors. But from a
The
talent
game
what you
of
should do,
basketball.
yeah.
That's what we're taking into account. The game of basketball.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
The other factors.
You're putting talent. All you're saying is they're more talented roster.
No, bro. The other factors in this situation include how much is Kyrie gonna play? It includes
He
is
played
KD
every
getting
game in the
traded?
playoffs.
Yeah, I don't get that.
He played every game. They
But
lost.
in this with the
And he was
Nets,
great.
with the Nets, it's not just about basketball, and we know it.
That's a negative,
When
though.
they
He was
play,
a-
they
he was
are
a
good.
non-factor after game one. He was a non-factor.
Okay,
after game
I
one.
know that, but I'm saying I didn't just mention Kyrie. We're talking about right now, the Nets right now.
Yeah.
Kyrie playing is a little question mark. Kevin Durant buying in, even
Kyrie's playing this
even
year.
if KD doesn't get traded, him buying in is a question mark. That's a legit question mark. Ben Simmons
These
did
are
not play
negatives
last
for
year.
the Nets. These are not. None of them are. There's no questions around the Celtics.
That's
Zero.
why
They just got better.
What's the first thing I said? I said from a talent perspective, you can say
But
the Nets.
talent does. But the Nets have proven that talent does not do shit. The
You
Nets
can't-
have proven
but even-
talent only
even
takes
if
you so
even-
far.
Even if you say from a talent perspective, it's never just talent.
What instances? Just off of one?
I'm saying the Nets have shown they've had talented rosters when they had the big three with
That was
Harden
2
and they
years.
got hurt.
That was
And-
1 year. That was
Okay,
1
and
year.
last year they had KD and Kyrie and they got swept round one.
Wait. So talent not mattering the first year with the
It
big
only gets you so far.
Wait, hold up. Talent with the big three with
I'm
Harden,
assuming KD and Kyrie best
Harden,
duo in the league
Harden,
with talent.
Harden. Well, are they not?
But
And there's that.
If you're the
Are
best
they
duo in the
not?
league and you're a first round sweep, what does that really matter?
talent
If you're the
don't
best
move
duo.
nobody anymore, bro. It's not about talent.
Yes, but these are this. I'm gonna say
That
this.
talent
first.
got them nowhere.
This. I'm gonna say this first.
The Warriors won a championship not based off talent.
They had the.
They had the fit. They had the scheme. They had the
The
coach.
Celtics
They
were
had
more-
the
the
intangible.
Celtics
They
are
had the
more
experience.
talented.
And they had the best
The
player
Celtics are more
in the
talented
playoffs.
than the
What?
Warriors, but they
no, they're not.
won
No, they're not. No, they're not.
on paper-wise roster players. I think the Celtics are a more
The
talented
Celtics have like
team.
a 6-7 man deep team. The Warriors have
gosh,
like
this is
8 or
getting
9
ridiculous.
guys they could play that
Hold
are
up.
much
Stop
deeper than
talking
that.
for a sec. I got 3 points, and I'm gonna rebuttal that you was talking about. With the big three Nets and the Harden, Kyrie, and KD, that did not work because. That did not work because of the outside basketball stuff.
Do the Nets
That
not
did
have
not-
outside basketball stuff right now?
This is the thing. With the big three
There's
Nets.
always outside basketball
with the
stuff
big
with the Nets.
three Nets, they didn't win because they got hurt.
Yes.
That has nothing to do with talent.
Okay, but you have guys that Kyrie gets hurt all the time, does he not?
But Harden doesn't get hurt, and he got hurt. That was an
Up
outlier.
until yes, that was his first big year.
But
first time getting injured. Also when he's 30.
and also the thing about you said with the Warriors and fit. No, they have the talent and the fucking fit.
I agree.
They have
Yes,
both.
I agree.
They're the best roster in the Western fucking Conference.
I agree.
Let's not talk about that.
I agree.
This past season they wasn't.
yeah.
I
Well,
agree.
this year the Clippers are better
Yeah, my fault.
roster wise, but last year they
and
had
I'm
the
still,
talent
and who
and
are you
the
taking, the
fucking
Warriors or the
fit.
Clippers?
No, they had
Who are
the-
you taking, the Warriors or the Clippers right now?
Actually,
I haven't
who-
decided yet.
Talent,
I
Warriors,
haven't decided yet.
Talent, Warriors or Pelicans?
Warriors.
Yeah.
Okay.
And over the Celtics
You need coaching. You need to be able to play together. You need fit and continuity. All the stuff the Nets do not have. Talent can only take you so far. KD and Kyrie have only taken the Nets so far. It doesn't care if it's injury, outside noise, whatever. The Nets are going into the season, the noisiest offseason by far in the NBA. We don't know if KD wants to be there, if Kyrie wants to be there. We don't even know if their fucking coach wants to coach.
We don't know what Ben Simmons is going to look like.
Riv.
Talk to me.
The Nets, as currently constructed right now, remove the freaking drama.
You can't.
I'm gonna remove it. I can remove
Let's
it.
say
both the teams at their best.
Let's say KD. Let's say Sean Marks said, "Listen, we can't find a trade partner for you. You're gonna have to suck it up and play." KD plays. He's bought in. Are the Nets not contenders?
Nets at their best. Yeah,
they're contenders.
But they're like the fourth team, third team.
You putting the Heat over them?
No, I'm sorry, the third.
I would just put the Bucks and Celtics over them, but they're contenders nonetheless.
And that's best case scenario. They're third in the East.
Do you think they're contenders?
They're the third.
Well, this world doesn't exist in my head.
No,
this world doesn't literally does not exist in my head.
Wait, I wouldn't put them over Philly.
You want to know why Joel called a fit right now? Because you're a Boston fan, and I attacked Boston in a subliminal way.
Because you said they had a better roster than the Celtics. That's ridiculous to say.
Top to bottom, it is pretty similar.
They don't have a center.
It is
a
pretty
good
similar.
center on their roster.
It is pretty similar.
They don't have a good center.
It is pretty similar. We're not gonna act like the Nets and the Celtics roster wise. You compare them neck to neck, like side by side. It's not a similar roster.
But I think Celtics clear them. On defense, it's a clearing. Offense is close. I like the two J's. I like their defense inside and on the perimeter.
They added defense.
The Nets they added guys who can defend, but they're still going to be a bad defense.
Kyrie,
they have no center. They have no center.
Ben Simmons can play.
They have no offensive scheme. They don't have a scheme. They don't have a good coach. That matters. They run a ISO heavy offense.
How are you going to win a finals with a bad coach?
They don't have a coach. That matters when it comes to a team.
That does matter.
It matters a lot.
And they could have done. They
lost in
the
four.
First year.
They lost in. Oh, sorry.
The first year together. Exactly. You're not even listening to what I'm saying. You're just trying to respond. In the first year,
because you're saying nonsense, bro.
No, I'm not. Because
you said, there were four close games against the Celtics. Like we swept them. We're the better team.
You think that the Celtics roster is head and heels better than the Nets roster, and that's not a fact. That's not a fact.
Okay. All right. Word.
You think they're You think the Celtics roster is head and heels over better than the Nets roster currently constructed?
Talent-wise, sure, but everything else matters. You can't. This isn't fucking 2K. Like everything else matters.
You don't even know. You don't even know what TJ Warren's gonna look like. You don't know what the new Ben Simmons is gonna look like. So as of right now, there's no way you can say it's close.
Even if you want to compare talent to talent, sure,
the two important guys on the defensive end for them, you don't even know what they're about to look like.
Two? You said TJ Warren?
TJ Warren he's gonna be a wing stopper.
I said Royce O'Neal. We don't know what
Royce O'Neal. But I'm just saying, two guys who are very important to that rotation. You don't know what they're gonna look like.
I forgot about TJ Warren. He's there too.
You don't even know the team, the roster.
So we're talking about a Nets team that has Kyrie, that has KD.
I don't give a fuck.
Swept.
I don't care.
Can I name the other players?
No,
that has Kyrie, that has KD,
Gary Harris,
Harris, that has Ben Simmons, that has Seth Curry, that has Royce O'Neal, that has Seth Curry, that has Joe Harris, he's coming back, that has TJ Warren. This team is freaking talented. Let's stop acting like it's not.
We don't have Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Al Horford, Rob Williams, Malcolm Brogdon, Grant, Gallinari. Like, we have the talent to match up.
Seth Curry's better than Derek White.
I didn't even say Derek White's name.
You did say him.
I didn't. I left him off. I said Malcolm Brogdon,
is
Gallinari.
Seth Curry better than Brogdon? No,
Brogdon's better. But can I count on TJ Warren at his worst being better than Grant Williams?
So Seth Curry is better than our fifth best guard?
You haven't seen him since the bubble.
Can I count on TJ Warren being better at least than Grant Williams?
I have not seen him since the bubble.
Yes, I can.
But can you count on him being just as invaluable? You don't know that.
Is KD better than Tatum? Yes. Is Kyrie better than JB? Yes.
The Jays can easily outplay both of them in the playoffs.
Which they did.
Easily.
Schematics, bro.
That's a part of a series.
In the playoffs.
Does Ime not fucking clear Nash?
But this is... Boston didn't do anything crazy revolutionary in the playoffs when they were playing defense on KD.
No, they just beat them in 4.
We just smoked them.
No, what they did is that
has KD ever been swept?
They loaded up on KD.
So what's the difference? KD got better as a passer?
They have better floor spacers this year.
But did KD get better as a passer? Because he has to get better at that for him to make, what do you mean?
No, he has to make the reads.
This is such a crazy hill to die
on, bro. They have to, this year they have better floor spacing. The Nets are going to have better. With Joe
Okay.
Harris coming back,
Quick
one of
question.
the best 3-point shooters in the league.
All said and done. We start the season. KD and Kyrie are on the team. All the bullshit's going on. Steve Nash is there. The roster's the same. Ben
hope
Simmons.
they play together.
Where do you
honestly.
think the Celtics finish? Where do you think the Nets finish? Since you think it's really close, where do they finish?
They're both top 3 seeds.
Where do they finish in the? Whatever. Where do they finish in the playoffs? Do one team get to the finals? One team's a first round exit, second round exit. What happens?
Mind you, we picked the Nets to win without Ben Simmons and Joe Harris. We did do that.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm not selling my stock on the Nets if KD's going to be there. I'm not selling.
I'm
it
just saying,
yet.
we picked them in 6 and they got swept.
You're buying into a team that their 2 stars you don't know want to be there. The head coach
Well, Kyrie
is
wants
in
to be
shambles.
there. Kyrie wants to be there.
KD got no more rim pressure.
Kyrie wants to be here today. Maybe he doesn't want to be there fucking tomorrow.
No,
You know how Kyrie is.
Kyrie has committed already. He's there.
He committed to
for the
Boston.
year. He's coming for the year.
But he
He was going to opt out.
all right.
Like
I'm
Kyrie,
going-
we know how Kyrie is. Next week he won out.
Off of what he said, he's committed to Brooklyn for the year. I'm going off with Kyrie.
You're telling a Boston Celtics fan this. You understand
Well,
that.
you're hurt. I get it.
I'm
You're
not
obviously
hurt. Fuck Kyrie.
You're
He's
obviously
fine.
hurt.
We're good now. We're straight.
Well, Kyrie got a chip. You guys don't got a chip in the last
Yeah,
10 years.
'cause
He
of
got a
fucking
chip.
Daddy Bron.
He got a chip.
He got
You
it
don't got
'cause
a
of Bron.
chip. KD got a chip.
Did we
You don't
have
got a chip.
LeBron? Did we have Steph Curry or LeBron
we
James?
talking about the Nets. They got
Did
championship
we have
experience.
Steph Curry or LeBron
They got-
James?
the Nets got championship
And we swept
experience.
them. And
Y'all
we
don't got
swept them.
championship.
We
Y'all
just
haven't
went to
won
the
shit.
fucking finals.
Y'all didn't win. Y'all didn't win.
And we beat
You
them
don't
in
got that
4. With
experience.
no experience,
You
we
don't
beat
got
them
that
in
ring,
4.
baby. You don't
With
got
no
that
experience, we
ring.
beat them in
You
4.
don't got that ring. Who got that ring on
You're a
Boston?
Knicks fan and a Harden fan talking to me about fucking rings, bro.
Al Horford, that was his first finals game in like 600 career games. Y'all don't got that chip. Kyrie
You're a
and KD got
Harden
that
fan
chip.
and a
They
Knicks
got
fan
that
talking to me
chip.
about a
They got
Boston
that chip.
Celtics fan about
I just
chips.
want you to know this entire thing started because you think it's blasphemous saying the
It
rosters
is.
aren't equal.
It is.
No,
It
it's
is
not.
blasphemous.
From a roster
It is
perspective, it's not.
blasphemous.
From a roster perspective,
And I said
it's
straight
not.
talent, sure, maybe it's close. I still think the Celtics have a pretty clear edge, but you put everything else that matters in basketball, literally everything else that matters, continuity, coaching. Do this team fucking like each other? Boston, yes. The Nets, we don't know. That matters a lot.
Gallinari or TJ Warren next year. Next
Gallinari,
season.
at least I've seen play basketball in the last 400 days.
Yo, he ain't played since the bubble, yo. The bubble's nuts.
I think TJ Warren will still come back and be a contributor. He's a bench player now. He's a role player. He's not a starter.
I'm going to tweet out who has a better roster. Let's see what the...
The Nets or Celtics
those are
as
the-
see it
currently
live.
as
Put it on the
currently
wall.
tweet mid-live.
as currently constructed.
Please put at their best, too. Both teams at their best.
Both teams at the best. Who's a better roster? It's going to be very, very close. Very, very close. We just got into a debate over a very, very close situation. Both, if the Nets stay healthy, they're a contender in the East. That's a fact.
I like if a
Say
team
we're recording
if
right
a
now.
team sweeps a team and then they get better, I don't see how it's close. Honestly, I would get it if it was like a 6-7 game series, but they got swept. Like it was embarrassing.
Okay.
So and Kyrie,
Miami got swept last year versus Milwaukee in the first round.
They
They made the conference finals.
they did. They fucking balled out. They showed out
some
for
dumb
real.
shit.
No.
You think that's gonna happen
You
again?
gotta make it even.
To Miami or
No,
to Brooklyn?
Brooklyn.
I think Brooklyn has a better chance of getting over the hump than Miami did. Like Brooklyn has the talent to get over the hump in those situations.
Well, with Miami, they just weren't that good. Brooklyn was good. They just got fucking locked up. That's all it was.
What do you mean? Jimmy Butler played horrible.
You know what I'm saying? But it was just Jimmy Butler. The
Everybody
roster
played
wasn't
horrible.
Miami's roster.
Tyler Hero
wasn't-
played horrible.
Miami's roster wasn't that good though, and everybody had the Bucks winning. When the Nets and the Celtics played, people were very high on the Nets, bro. People thought the Nets were gonna come out that
I
series.
know we both picked the Nets.
Exactly. So and they just got locked up for 4 straight.
They
well,
lost, but they were close games, bro.
But
I
we
don't care
still
about
won.
close games, 'cause
Like,
if
we
you're
still
a
beat
I
them
know
4
you still
times in a
won, but I'm
row.
saying
You know how hard it is to beat a team 4 times in a row?
We just mentioned this example. The Heat last 2 seasons ago lost to the Bucks in the first round. They got fucking embarrassed. They got swept. They
both got
came back the upcoming year and they made the conference finals and took the Celtics to 7 games, one shot away from the NBA finals. These turnarounds can happen, and it was a fairly similar roster. What were their real additions?
Okay,
Your guy.
but look at the...
PJ Tucker.
We're talking about the Heat versus the Nets?
Yes.
One
think-
has one of the best coaches in the NBA, and one is fucking a year from being fired.
You think the Heat have a better roster than the Nets? Top to bottom?
Talent-wise, no.
Okay.
No, but they have Eric Spoelstra.
Okay,
They have a team that's been together for
Eric
years.
Spoelstra's great, but I'm saying just
Does
because
that not matter?
I'm saying
It
just,
obviously matters.
Just because a team gets swept doesn't mean that's their destiny the very next year.
I don't disagree,
It's not.
but don't we all
Especially
agree
when
here?
you have players this talented.
You're expecting a team to go to the finals with a bad head coach and a team that we don't know can play together.
Steve Nash is
we
better
know
as a
the
coach.
Heat can play
I don't
together. They
think-
went
I
to
don't-
the finals
I
in
don't
the
think Steve
bubble.
Nash is this finished product as a coach. He's not this
Y'all
finished
said
product.
multiple times. Like, what are you talking about?
No, I don't think right now Steve Nash is not a good coach, but he's not a finished product. He's not a finished product.
Is he gonna be a finished product on the Nets, or is he gonna be a new gig?
He just has to manage these guys, bro. I'm gonna be honest.
It's easier said than done, I guess.
They have a lot of talent. Like
It's easier said than done considering he was hired to be a babysitter to not interfere with anything.
Player coach.
Yeah.
That's what he's supposed to be.
This is
to
hilarious.
get out of the way.
Bro said Steve Nash is not a finished product.
So just to finish it off, Will, you think the Nets are contenders in the East? As currently constructed. Riv, you do too.
Yes.
You do not,
No.
Joe. They're not.
They're
Okay.
not contenders.
It's as simple as that. This is what the entire debate's about.
But I think
you
Boston,
don't think they're contenders.
I
I
think
do.
Boston and the Bucks are clear of pretty much the East. Outside of maybe Philly can crack that if James Harden gets back to that, but I think Boston and the Bucks are the clear favorites in the East.
Honestly, I don't care that the Celtics swept the Nets. I guarantee you, I wish I could call Jason right now, ask him, hey, would you want to face the Nets with KD and Kyrie next year in the playoffs again? He would say, nah, fuck no, I want to stay away from those guys.
Obviously.
No, but I don't think he would want
They don't want that smoke. They don't want that smoke.
We could have ran from them like the Bucks did. We did not run from them.
Good job.
We played the
Good
Nets
job.
round
But y'all
one.
want that smoke.
All that running
Y'all
shit
want that
cool,
smoke.
And we got home court advantage because we didn't run. That's why we
good
beat
job.
Milwaukee
all
in
that,
7.
All that running shit is cool, but like
fucking
I
homer.
don't think the Celtics want to go to war with the Bucks again. They would
Hell
rather
no.
play
I
the
do not
Nets.
want to play
That
the
was
Bucks round 2, bro.
And and the Bucks didn't have Middleton. You talk about some Ben Simmons who didn't play the whole year, Mr. Joe Harris. Okay, the Bucks didn't have Middleton, so this is like and they
the
went to
Bucks
war.
team with
So, come
Middleton
on, bro.
fucking scares
They would
me
rather
a
play the
billion
Nets.
times more than this Nets team.
They would
It's
rather
not
play the
close.
team they swept
It's not
again.
close.
Well, you're right.
They
Because
would
with
rather
Middleton,
play
they would have.
they were-
You're
come on,
right.
bro.
Because
They
with
went to seven
Middleton,
Miami.
with
They
Middleton,
would
they
rather
would have
play the
cooked
Nets.
y'all. I know you're scared of Middleton. They would have cooked y'all if he was healthy.
Why is the Nets the only team that got swept, bro?
In the whole fucking playoffs.
whole
Look,
playoffs.
it happens.
It does not.
It
do I count-
literally
Star
doesn't
players like
because
that
It
no
happens.
other
The
series
Joker
that
got
happened.
one, bro.
It happens.
Come on, bro.
Look, do I count on it to happen again? No.
The Celtics got one last year when the Nets had their big 3
Tatum
and the
had
Celtics didn't have
50.
Jalen Brown.
Tatum had
Even
50.
fucking Tatum got one.
It's embarrassing.
KD and Kyrie couldn't
know,
get you one?
The only reason why I'm not fully confident right now in making a bet with you right now is because I don't know if KD's going to be on this roster.
Well,
Let's do it with KD on the roster.
If
if
KD's on
if
the
KD
roster,
stays on the roster,
What do you
it.
want to bet?
you could bet it with that.
What do
If
you want
he
to
leaves,
bet?
you
Who
can
better
you can
regular
void the
season
bet.
record?
If he
Who
leaves,
makes
you
it
can
further
void
in the
bet.
no,
playoffs?
I'll just write. Well, I want to bet with you too, Mister.
Oh shit.
Okay.
Minnesota over Memphis in the regular season. Stamp that.
The Celtics will go farther in the playoffs than the Nets.
And that wasn't our debate either between Memphis and Minnesota.
It was whether they're contenders or not.
Yeah. So who goes farther in the playoffs is really the answer.
Minnesota or Memphis?
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Who goes farther in the
Do
playoffs?
the Nets make it out the first round? You think they're going to be this bottom dweller?
No, they can make it out of the first round.
But you said that you don't think they're going to be a top 4 seed.
Probably not. No.
So they're going to face one of the top teams. They're
I
going
think-
to
I think they can make
They're
second
going to face a Boston, a Milwaukee, a Heat, a Philly. They're going to face one of those teams.
They're not beating
According to
Milwaukee.
you.
They're not beating Milwaukee or the Celtics. They maybe get out of the first round. They could get a favorable first round matchup. It wouldn't shock me. You know, shit happens. See
So
that bad Atlanta team.
how
go
about
get one
this?
seed.
If KD's healthy, they finish as a top 3 seed.
If KD's healthy,
No. If
KD's
KD
on
stays
the
on a
team,
roster, they finish as a top 3
let's just
seed.
who makes it further in the playoffs? The Celtics or Nets?
I don't wanna take that.
This started as a Celtics versus
He's
Nets
scared.
debate.
He's scared,
Oh,
right?
it
know.
just started as a contenders
Because it would
debate.
be no, because you
Well,
said
no,
the
regular
Nets.
season
You said the
ranking
Nets have
doesn't
a
make
better
you
No,
roster
contender.
than the
it's just
Celtics.
matchups. I don't know what's.
I don't
what the
care
matchups
about
gonna
regular
be.
season.
Yeah, regular season
bro.
ranking
Like,
don't
I
make you a
don't-
contender.
I really don't think they're going to be, but I'd rather do a Celtics versus Nets debate because I feel
But
much
you
more
think they're not
going to
be a top 3 seed?
I
Though?
say we just wait to see if they play. If they play again, make that bet.
No, because you originally the reason why I was
scared.
fucking flabbergasted was because you said the Nets have a better roster than the Celtics. It was a Nets versus Celtics thing. It was never just if you would have said
Talent-wise,
the
I
Nets
think
have a talented
yeah.
roster, I wouldn't have said anything. They have a talented roster
Oh, you just heard the Celtics and was like,
because it's ridiculous to say. Why'd I have to neck them like that?
So you get down.
God damn.
That's how you jump in
No.
there. You you violent.
nah, I mentioned the Celtics once and Joe went crazy.
That was the first
his
thing you
team,
said.
Nah, it was not.
Because you're talking about a team we just swept.
That
We
is.
went to the
that-
finals.
He felt the disrespect. I get it.
I understand. I mean, it's not like they're gonna win next year anyway. But
It's Harden's year
this
or the
week,
Knicks
Harden's a Nick.
or the Knicks. I don't know. One of them. Those are his two teams, Harden and the Knicks. Tough life.
Here's another Minnesota.
Yeah.
Well, you're a
None-
Jets
none
fan.
of
You
these
can't talk.
Oh
What are we
shit!
talking about? You fucking Jets fan.
This week in the NBA, mine is the Lakers are retiring Pau Gasol's jersey. I think it was well deserved. He was a pivotal part to the 2 championship runs with Kobe Bryant, a international basketball legend.
Is he really overseas? Like, is he? Like,
Yeah, he's a legend.
Yeah.
So I think this was well deserved, and I love Pau Gasol.
My this week in the NBA is LeBron and D Wade are producing the Redeem Team documentary. I think that's fucking dope. I actually had to go back and look at the roster and see what type of team they had. And that was like peak D Wade, LeBron, Kobe. And I know people love 2012 team, the Dream Team, but 2008, when you got D Wade at his best with LeBron and Kobe, that's a nasty team. But I thought that was pretty cool to bring it to the light for all the casuals and people who only watch basketball after 2010. So,
Do you think the documentaries are getting played out if they keep making them like this?
it depends if they make them too long.
Okay.
I think if they make them for like an hour, it's something
so you
to
want,
watch.
You want the Redeem Team to be 1 hour, not like 5 episodes.
I think 5 episodes is fucking insane.
Okay.
Maybe like 2 or 3.
Because The Last Dance was like 8 episodes.
Well, Last Dance is the greatest documentary ever.
Right,
In life.
so
but
It
I don't-
spanned over.
you gotta think like how many. That's Michael Jordan. The Redeem Team ain't. It's a bunch of guys that ain't really Michael Jordan. So,
I agree.
But
different.
they have LeBron.
Nobody cares.
My
A lot
this
of
week in the
people-
NBA.
Nah, not 2008. Nobody cares. Come on.
My this week in the NBA is NBA introduces rivalry week to this season. January 24th through 28th is going to be considered rivalry week.
Why the fuck are we
There's some
playing the
crazy
We're playing the
rivalries in there.
Hornets.
Yeah.
There's nothing
That doesn't make
there.
any
It's okay. I mean, some of these are a little obvious, but I wanted to go through and see if you guys can guess why they're on rivalry week.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Okay.
So, I mean, some of them are really easy, like Heat and the Celtics,
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Clippers and the Lakers,
Yeah.
Nets and the 76ers,
James Harden, I'm assuming.
Okay.
yep, Grizzlies and the Warriors,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bulls and the Hornets.
Why?
That doesn't make sense.
Michael Jordan.
Oh, that's so
He
dumb.
owns Charlotte.
so dumb.
No,
No, really.
it's Lonzo and LaMelo. That's
he
why.
might not even play.
But that's good. I didn't think about Michael Jordan. That
That's
connection.
what I would have went to.
Suns and the Mavs,
Yeah,
They
that's
whipped
easy.
their ass.
Grizzlies and the Timberwolves.
Grizzlies played twice that week.
Yeah, they play on Wednesday and Friday.
That's 2 L's.
Damn.
Raptors and the Warriors.
I don't think that's a
Championship.
rivalry. I don't think that's a
2019.
rivalry.
Yeah,
I would have rather
2019.
see Raps in Boston, to be honest.
Nuggets and the
Good
76ers.
game.
Okay.
Good game.
Nuggets and the 76ers.
Wait, who?
Nuggets and the 76ers.
Joel
AI?
Embiid versus the Joker.
Yep, that's it. Knicks and the Nets.
Excellent.
And
New York.
And the nightcap on Saturday night is Lakers and the Celtics.
Okay.
Historic.
No Kings.
Sad.
Should have been Kings and Lakers.
What? Why?
Why?
I mean 2001.
Yo, bro.
That was a big moment in history.
My this week in the NBA, Jason Tatum, Taylor Rooks' interview. Of course, it was amazing. Taylor
Saying
Rooks
me
phenomenal
right,
at her
no.
job. Jason Tatum great at his job. Some interesting
His
things
job?
came out.
Playing
we knew,
ball, right?
Huh?
His job is playing ball, right?
Yeah, I would say he's
He's
pretty
great
good.
at it?
Is he not a top 10 player in the world?
Game 6 Tatum. I think that's an amazing player. Just,
Fuck you. Learned some interesting things. Jason Tatum had a fractured wrist, I want to say, for a good part of the season. He hurt it pretty early on in the year, and he never wanted to get it checked out because he didn't want to miss games. He said it's good now. And then also the KD and Tatum photo that went viral. Everyone's saying, oh, like, you want KD to join the Celtics. They've been boys for a while. He's known KD since he was in high school. He said they were on the Olympic team together, so they're just boys. And they posted those pictures. It's not like they were hiding shit. So it was a good interview. It's like an hour long.
media.
New media.
What did you think about what he said, though?
About what?
About because I saw a lot of people complaining about how he's making excuses and how he's saying they was exhausted and stuff. Do you think it was excuses, or you think he was just telling the truth?
In terms of his injury?
He was talking about. I think you probably missed some of it. He was talking about how
The Bleacher Report app sucks, first of all.
Yeah, I'm
It's
sorry.
terrible.
I don't know why they did it live on the Bleacher.
Yeah,
shit
I went on
YouTube.
YouTube. I couldn't find it.
Yeah, it was on Bleacher. But he was talking about how she asked him like the Warriors run and like what happened in the finals, and he was like they were just really fucking gassed. and
Oh,
they
I
were
didn't
tired.
see that part.
Yeah, so I'm
He's
asking,
making excuses.
do you think it's? I'm
Yeah.
asking you as the Boston
Yeah.
fan. Do you think it's excuses or
Yes, it's excuses.
excuses?
You're in the
least you know.
finals. You're in the fucking finals.
At least
Like,
you know that.
Everyone's had
He
a long
did. He
season.
did talk about how though like they should have closed some series out
Yeah.
earlier and shit like that.
Because what? The Warriors played
We
four
handled
extra
business.
games than us,
We handled
right?
business.
Something like that.
Or less, 3 less.
3, yeah.
Because we went 6 Memphis, 5 Denver, 5.
We went
Dallas.
4, 7,
We handled
7.
business.
You did, and
You
you
did
should get
not.
credit. That's why you should be credited for that. We didn't. We could have. I mean, we had to come back from 3-2 against Milwaukee,
Yeah.
but
You played what you played.
4, 7, 7.
You played 18 games. We played 15.
Yeah.
Get better.
I
played 16.
I don't think he's trying to make an excuse, but I don't think there is no excuse there.
You saw Tatum talk about R.J. Barrett though, right?
Yes,
I did see that. I caught it. Yo, people in the comments are really fucking toxic.
Yeah,
they were going crazy.
the Bleacher Report comments.
I did see that.
So
That was a rough week for them.
R.J. turned around their season.
It was RJ. Like that was a rough week for y'all. Like he was talking about everything. He's like,
Yeah, he said that was the moment where like he was at his lowest. Like, can I actually lead this team? Because we were
Shit
spiraling.
This shit hard.
It is.
It's funny how one team went up, the other team declined. The Knicks being.
I mean, we were declining since the beginning of the season.
Oh, you've been declining for a decade, but I get it. Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe the Celtics start off that way again this year. We don't know.
I hope not, because we're tired of seeing that shit. You guys do this every fucking year.
No, last year was different. We never started that bad.
You guys are so inconsistent. It's actually funny.
We never started that bad.
Would you rather? This one is on the most skilled player in NBA history.
Jesus Christ.
It's on Kyrie. So you guys prepared.
I mean, we just found out about this like an hour ago, but sure.
Would you rather Kyrie Irving?
He did text about it. You just were too busy being Hollywood, so you didn't answer.
No, he said, who's the would you rather this week? You said Kobe. He didn't
ignored
answer.
me, but you didn't answer. You didn't give an answer. You
Oh,
just
no,
got
but
it.
we found out. I wouldn't have, regardless. We
fault.
found out about, when we started the show.
See how guys be Hollywood and shit?
I'm always in the chat.
Sad reality.
So would you rather Kyrie Irving addition first name up Damian Lillard?
Dame.
Kyrie.
Trae Young.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Is this right now or all
what the
time?
fuck?
I'm
No,
sorry.
right now,
I'm sorry.
right now.
Oh, okay. Dame then, sorry. I thought this was all time.
Okay.
Next
guy.
Right now, Trae Young.
Wait, are we considering like Kyrie being crazy or just like his skills?
Unless I say it's prime,
It's
not
All right, let's
today.
start over.
Start over.
Okay.
Dame.
Dame.
Kyrie.
Will, you're done.
Trae Young.
Trey Young.
Kyrie.
The fuck?
Wow.
Ja Morant.
Ja Moran.
Ja. You just went on a fucking spree about Ja.
John Morant.
And now these players I'm going to name, this is
2000s?
them in their prime, their absolute best. So Russell Westbrook.
Russell Westbrook. We both said Russell Westbrook.
Kyrie.
No, but you picked Kyrie over Dame. What?
Kyrie.
Chris Paul.
Chris Paul. He's casual.
Chris Paul.
Chris Paul.
John Wall.
Kyrie.
I'm regretting Chris Paul. Kyrie. I don't know.
You're regretting Chris Paul over Kyrie? How?
He's got it bad,
Kyrie,
bro.
but it's fucking close.
Gilbert Arenas.
Kyrie.
Kyrie's more efficient. Kyrie.
Chauncey Billups.
Chauncey. No, I'm trolling. Kyrie.
I was waiting for you. Kyrie.
Jason Kidd.
Jason Kidd. Easily.
Okay.
What the fuck you mean okay? Easily.
Kyrie got to,
What?
I'm a bad
Kyrie
guy.
on what?
I'm
You're
a
a
bad
bad guy?
guy.
You're a troll.
I'm a bad guy. Kyrie.
Allen Iverson.
AI.
Allen Iverson.
AI.
And last name, Steve Nash.
Steve Nash.
Steve Nash.
Clears. Fucking
Steve
clears.
Nash. Steve Nash.
Oh, you laughing? I'm that serious.
Now on to the last segment of the podcast, Week 2 preseason takeaways. The last game was played Monday, Jets versus Falcons. What are your
down
takeaways?
touchdown right now?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
So,
Takeaways from week 2. I feel like a lot less starters played week 2 than week 1. I don't know if that was how it was last year either. I think a couple offenses that were expecting to be great are going to be great. The Bills scored 42 points against Denver. Starting quarterbacks threw a combined 300 yards, 90% completion percentage, 2 touchdowns. So Brian Dable left. They're not going to miss a beat. And Patrick Mahomes, it's the preseason. It doesn't matter. I think he's going to be fine without Tyreek Hill. He's looked phenomenal. In terms of players that matter or can move up and down the depth chart, starting off with Kenny Pickett. Last week we had the debate, should you start him week 1 or not? I'm still on the fence that you should, or still on the side that you should start Kenny Pickett, but I think Steelers fans need to take a step back. I don't think it's going to be a high-powered offense. He has an average depth of target, ADOT of 5.3, has 1 pass over 20 yards. So this is not someone who has shown the ability to throw the ball down the field yet. He's a quick decision maker, but for the most part, it's been very short stuff. Brian Robinson, talked about it week 1. Week 2, he was the first running back to get a carry. Antonio Gibson was doing kick returns. I think Antonio Gibson is the better player. He's more talented, but Brian Robinson's going to have a role. And then lastly, Malik Willis. I feel like there's been some mixed reviews of Malik. I see some people saying, oh my God, he looks amazing, he should start. Other people saying he looks terrible. This is what I'm expecting from Malik. He's shown a lot of physical attributes and traits that we saw at Liberty, but right now he's not ready to be a highly efficient passer. He still has a lot of work to do. But he has shown those flashes of being able to move out of the pocket, throw on the run, change arm angles. But right now, Ryan Tannehill's job is very secure.
Brian Robinson, you mentioned him. very disrespectfully.
How? Antonio Gibson's more talented.
Talent only takes you so far. You gotta have all this other shit you talk about.
I'm not.
And that's what Brian Robinson
Washington's
has.
not. We're not talking about Washington going to the fucking Super Bowl.
And that's what Brian Robinson
It's a
has.
running back, not a quarterback.
Brian Robinson has.
Can't
He's
shit with this
talented.
guy.
He's skilled. He's a freight train. There's a reason that before the draft I said Brian Robinson, that guy. He's my.
Do you know a stat line for this preseason game that everyone's hyping up?
It wasn't great. I
It
know.
was 8 for
Yards-
30. 8
All right.
carries, 30 yards.
But I said Brian Robinson, that's my guy. That's my guy in the draft. He's gonna be very, very good. Did I think he was gonna overtake Antonio Gibson? I did not. But the fact that he's overtaken him means that this Washington coaching staff believes in him.
Well, Gibson has a fumbling problem, and Brian Robinson doesn't fumble.
And Brian
That'll put
Robinson
him on the field.
He's a freight train too.
Gibson's more talented.
He's a freight train. So it's Brian Robinson, I'm not surprised by this. I knew he was this good of a player. I hope he gets a lot of snaps in regular season because he's going to prove a lot of people wrong. That's my guy. Brian Robinson and Gabriel Davis.
Great catch.
The Bills, you saw Josh Allen throw a dot. Gabe Davis, 28-yard touchdown pass. I think Josh Allen he's of course going to have a big-time year next year. But Gabe Davis is really going to reap the benefits of this great quarterback. Stephon Diggs, we know what he's going to do.
Dog.
But Gabe Davis averaging almost 16 yards a catch last season. I think he's going to be a viable deep threat for Buffalo. He could have 1,000 yards, but he's going to be their second option, their second option for sure next season, and he's going to have a big-time season. You're looking at the poll results?
I want everyone to go.
70 to 30 is not that bad.
It was 73 to 27%.
Down
Boston.
right now. You gotta come
It's
back.
not- 30%.
Early in the
That's
day.
Still pretty good.
Early in the day.
Say
bro.
we have 23 hours left on this poll.
Then out of 10 people, 7 people say yes, 3 people say no.
57 people voted. Decent sample size.
Bounce back.
James Cook also, I think, looked very great for Buffalo. He's an elusive back. I think this is the year that Buffalo's going to incorporate the running backs a bit more, which I think is needed to take some pressure off of Josh Allen. And my last two, Patrick Mahomes, even without Tyreek Hill in his preseason drives against the Bears, 6 for 7, 60 yards, 1 touchdown. Against the Commanders, 12 for 19, 162 yards, 2 touchdowns. Mahomes is going to be just fine without Tyreek Hill. I'm betting on Tyreek Hill falling off more than Mahomes. I'm counting on Tyreek Hill falling off without Mahomes more than Mahomes going to fall off without Tyreek Hill. Mahomes doesn't need Tyreek Hill. He's literally the best quarterback in the NFL right now. You can debate it 1A, 1B, but he is an all-time great, can go down as one of the best ever, and the Chiefs' offense will be just fine. They don't need Tyreek
I
Hill.
like Sky more
And Jordan Love, he had his best pro performance of his career up to date.
in the preseason.
And I think,
Congratulations.
well, okay, but he doesn't get to play in the regular season because Aaron Rodgers is playing over
Nobody
him.
plays. in
Did
the
you see
preseason.
the clip we put up? The Would You Rather Jordan Love?
I seen that bullshit,
Okay.
and I saw a lot of dumb shit going
A
on.
lot
was-
of dumb
it was
shit.
actually crazy.
That was
A lot
hilarious.
of dumb
It-
shit.
And Jordan Love,
You guys
I
were on a
think,
generational dumbass moment vlog.
Not y'all.
It was
There-
crazy.
Two out of the 3 on the show were on some dumb shit.
and
Kenny
you know,
Pickett.
this is I
said
think
Pickett too.
Crazy.
you could look at it from that lens if you don't believe in Jordan Love. But I believe in Jordan Love.
Yeah, but you
I
have
was
to
It's just no,
believe in him based on what?
There's just
though?
not enough film to say you believe in
off
anything.
the talent.
College.
Off the talent.
Yeah, right.
Off
It's
the
college
talent.
film. He hasn't-
Also,
he hasn't
it's
played
been
for
4
saw-
years since he's been in college.
I seen him versus the Saints. The most poise I've seen him, and I said that about him last week in week 1. The throws he was able to make, the high level throws, degree of difficulty. Jordan Love is getting better.
Sam
And
Darnold made difficult throws.
Jordan Love, I
He's
think, is going to
fucking
be a
dreadful.
good quarterback. Now, people can rule out Jordan Love all they want. Well, guess what? Year 3 Aaron Rodgers, they did the same thing. Year 3 Aaron
That's his
Rodgers.
comp. That's Jordan Love's
Year
comp.
3
It's
Aaron Rodgers. Aaron,
Comp.
need I tell you?
That's what he said, or the media.
No, that's what he's saying right now.
Oh,
that's his
I thought you
comp.
were saying the media.
I don't know if you're familiar with this. When Aaron Rodgers was drafted by Green Bay,
It wasn't because Brett Favre was.
Yes.
Never mind.
Packers fans
Well, Aaron
Hey,
Rodgers too.
Packers fans hated Aaron Rodgers. They hated his guts. He didn't start until his 4th year in the league. In his 3rd year in the league, they were ready to call him a bust. They chastised him. They said he wasn't any good. They wanted Favre. Guess what? Aaron Rodgers turns into this all-time great. Is Love going to be an all-time great quarterback? I don't know that. But I think Jordan Love is going to be a very good quarterback, and him sitting is beneficial for his development, and he has all the talent, and he's gonna be big time. Now, if people want to believe in it or not, it's fine. It's not going to come into fruition into a couple years, but
He's not going to be better than Tua.
Stick with Jordan Love, and he's gonna make you.
He's not going to be better
He's
than
gonna
Tua.
make you happy that you made that decision.
He's not going to be better than Tua.
You could say
it's
that.
just
I don't care.
the thing with Jordan Love is just not enough film in the NFL to really build up a proper analysis on him. Everything's just based off college, pretty much, his upside. But
So that goes both ways, though.
yeah, there's like there should be no.
So if you think
positive
he's gonna be garbage, there's not enough to dictate he's gonna be garbage
fact,
either.
there is no positive or negative. Like there's not enough to really. You're basing it off college at this point, so it's all projecting. You're projecting he's gonna be great. You're projecting he's gonna be a bust.
Just
At this point,
damn near every quarterback in NFL history who sat their first 3 years usually don't turn out to be
How many?
one of the
Can,
top
can
10
you, how many
quarterbacks.
quarterbacks sat their
No,
first 3
because
years?
usually when you're really good at football, you get on the field.
Over
I mean it's Aaron Rodgers.
over
in
who?
front of
Aaron
him.
Rodgers?
I know there's multiple times where Aaron Rodgers didn't want to be in Green Bay.
You think they could trade Jordan Love, get something?
No, I'm saying there was times where Aaron Rodgers didn't want to be a
Oh, you're
Packer.
saying like they could
multiple times, just once. It was
Probably just
I think
once.
just in Jordan
I
Love's
think
tenure. It was
twice.
just once. It was in the time of the draft.
It was the draft, yeah.
That's
was it
it.
last year?
That
The end
the
of last
Justin
season?
Fields draft.
And
the
that
Zach
and that
Wilson
fixed
draft.
very and that was fixed very quickly.
Was there another
So twice.
I think it was twice.
So
Aaron
I
Rodgers
love
always
when
quickly.
you do this because how many quarterbacks sat the first 3 years actually?
Not many.
Can you
That's
name?
why his comp is Aaron Rodgers.
Bro, not many. Name me names. Can you name? If you can name me 3 names, I'll give it to you.
Well, there's no first round draft pick who sits for 3 years as a quarterback other than Aaron Rodgers, really.
So that
'cause
was
when
that
you're-
was really the last one to do it.
No, Brees started early. No, at least I don't know if it what year. Drew Brees. It wasn't year 3 or 4.
Brees was a second round pick.
Okay.
He was with the Chargers.
Usually, your first round pick, you get on the field. That's where there's no comp because there's rarely been times in NFL history
How
where you
many-
spend a first round pick on a guy you don't play.
How many teams in NFL history or even in the past 10 years have drafted a quarterback with the assumption that they're not going to play multiple years because you have a Hall of Famer in front of them?
It almost never happens.
No, it hasn't happened. So you're telling me it almost never happens, but really the only comparison is Aaron Rodgers.
You also know the issue that the Packers are going to run into, where they're going to have to choose a 5th-year option, pay Jordan Love $25 million, like we were talking
and I
about
think
last
they'll
week.
pay him.
And you're going to have Aaron Rodgers under contract. You can pay $25 million for a backup.
I think they're going to keep Jordan Love with that's not a question. I think they're keeping Jordan Love.
So you're gonna spend Aaron Rodgers is getting 50
So
a
what
year.
you're telling me right now is that
You're
you
spending
can't,
$75 million on quarterback.
I told
for
you
the
to
year.
name 3 players. You can't name me one outside of Aaron Rodgers. That's the only one.
No, because bro, you don't spend a first round pick and don't play them. No team does that. If you have any sanity, you don't do
That's
that.
because you have Aaron Rodgers, bro.
Okay, probably wasn't a good pick.
It might have not been a good pick, but to say that he's bad because he's not playing over Aaron Rodgers, I think is a pretty
No,
dumb
you
thing.
you're taking guys that have proven in the league to be good quarterbacks over him.
Ooh.
You took Tua over him. I mean,
Tua's a
you
good
took
quarterback?
Jordan Love over Tua. Tua
Tua
has
is-
shown us infinitely more than
Tua
Jordan
is
Love
a
has.
good quarterback.
No, he's not.
He's a good quarterback.
He's not. He's average. He's literally
I
average.
wouldn't say he's
You know,
above
what's
average.
what's Jordan Love's floor?
His floor is an average quarterback.
His floor is out of the league. His floor is Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
No, I think
Yes.
his floor is average quarterback.
No,
So
So his
he's
floor
at
is
his floor
Tua?
right now.
his floor is Tua.
Probably, yeah.
You're insane.
So you think
Talk
so?
about Jordan Love.
You think Tua is shown to be? So who else outside of Tua is a good quarterback?
Would you rather have? Well, the names we did weren't really crazy. Like we picked Jameis over him. Like Jameis is like what, the 18th best quarterback.
That's pretty good.
God. That's what I'm saying. Would you rather have Jordan Love or you'd rather have Trevor Lawrence? I'm assuming.
Of course,
Rather
Baker
have-
Mayfield.
Oh, Justin Fields.
I'd rather be Jordan Love.
Baker Mayfield.
That's really close.
Trey Lance.
I'd rather have Trey.
He's on the
Lance.
Trey Lance
Yeah,
trade now.
I mean, you have to pick Trey Lance.
Baker.
Baker.
Baker. I know what Baker's gonna give me his floor.
Carson Wentz.
When healthy, I'm taking Jordan Love.
What?
I think Baker's better than Carson Wentz.
He's what? That's crazy too.
How is that crazy?
Carson Wentz threw for like
Like it's just
27 touchdowns last year.
Just
and less
Carson
than,
Wentz-
less than
Dying
10
Hill, who
picks.
guy doesn't
Carson
play.
Wentz was.
Like it's hard to root for someone
I
who
get
doesn't
it.
play.
I get it.
You
I
know?
get it.
Like
Carson Wentz's touchdown interception ratio last year was like 27 to 8.
it was
or something.
elite.
27-7.
It was elite.
yeah,
He
because
just
the
wasn't
numbers
accurate.
fool you.
This wasn't accurate.
But okay, but they count for something. He's better than Baker.
He literally was the reason their season
They're in the
was
same
fucking
tier for me.
garbage.
Sure.
I think in my rankings I'm like 22, 23.
The reason the Colts didn't make the playoffs was because of Carson Wentz. He folded,
The
and
whole team folded.
and he had the most. He was top 5 in most. He was top 5 in most dropped interceptions last year. Carson Wentz. A lot of his picks were dropped. Carson Wentz has been
Matt
good.
Ryan or Jordan Love.
Come on, bro.
You're starting a franchise today.
Come
Pick
on,
one.
bro.
38-year-old Matt Ryan or the unknown of Jordan Love.
It's literally the unknown with Jordan Love.
I know.
Throwing him out there.
You'd rather just take the 38-year-old Matt Ryan if you had to start a franchise today.
Matt Ryan got some years in him, man. If I have,
Two?
you said to start a franchise, or I got
Start. He
to.
said start
I
a
have
franchise.
a contending, competing roster right
Start
now.
a franchise.
Jordan Love.
I think you should.
If I'm
you
starting
have
a
to.
if I'm starting a franchise,
I think that's
yes.
reasonable.
Yeah.
I know you're a fucking Matt Ryan. That's why.
Well, if you said I have a competing team, that's Matt Ryan.
Oh, so you don't think Jordan Love could win right now?
I don't think he's better than Matt Ryan.
You don't think if Jordan Love was the starting quarterback instead of the Packers, what are they? Wild card? They don't win the division.
I say 7-10, 8-9.
7-10, 8-9. And what do you think they are with Rodgers? 11 wins? 10 wins?
Yeah, they could be 11. You can't really count out Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. That's why I think he just adds that much more wins to them. I'm telling you, don't sleep on Jordan Love.
I'm like hibernating.
Please don't. All right, that's
no,
fine.
I'm hibernating.
Well, we'll be right in this spot next year.
When he's still the backup?
He's literally going to still be the backup next year.
I hope Jordan Love plays this season in some regular season games. You're gonna regret what you're
That
talking
means Aaron
about.
will have to get hurt,
I
which means you're wishing on his hurt.
And I don't want to do that. I
Just
like Aaron.
A small ankle sprain that keeps him out for 3 weeks.
But Aaron thinks he's learning too. Aaron's talked up about him too, talking highly.
Well, I'm glad it took them 3 years to speak positively on their first-round draft pick.
No, it didn't actually. It took him less than that.
No, but last year they didn't say shit about him.
No, they did actually.
No, last year
Did you-
LaFleur
did you
literally
wa-
say that he's light years ahead of where he was last year.
Did you read what Aaron Rodgers? Well, actually, watch. He was on Pat McAfee last year.
Okay.
He talked about Jordan Love and said he's a great kid.
I was talking about LaFleur. Oh, he's a great kid. So
He
that
said
is-
more things
no,
about him.
oh my God, your headline was he's a great kid. Come on,
If you don't want to,
Sam
be a Jordan Love
Darnold's a
guy,
great kid.
all right, bro. If you don't want to be a Jordan Love guy, don't be a Jordan Love guy.
I think I've picked my side. Like I think my side has
right.
been picked on Jordan
Don't
Love.
regret that. They said the same thing about Aaron Rodgers. I'm just saying.
I know that's his comp.
You know what would be
one of the
hilarious?
most talented quarterbacks ever.
What would be hilarious is that you're talking all this shit, and in the Would You Rather, people are talking all that shit about us,
Everyone was
and then
saying I know ball.
and then Jordan Love becomes a top 15 quarterback in the league and is taking the league by storm, and y'all are really looking stupid.
Takes the league by storm. He's gonna have like a Patrick Mahomes-esque first year whenever he does start. It might be when he's like 30 years old, but he'll start.
No. Just imagine a hypothetical world where that does happen. Let's say he throws 26 touchdowns, like 8 picks his first year, right?
Year.
It's a solid year. It's a Carson Wentz
Are
year.
you like, damn man?
That's a Carson Wentz year.
J-Lo.
That's a Carson Wentz
No,
year.
it's
He just
not.
did 27-7.
No, it's not because
He was literally
Yeah,
27-7.
that does not add context to Carson Wentz.
You're not
year.
adding any context here either.
Oh, it was a great he makes
oh.
a bunch of flashy big time plays, and you're like, oh shit, this motherfucker has an
Or he's
arm.
inaccurate.
I was gonna say you're giving me the best possible scenario.
You're literally saying
No, I'm
everything
saying-
goes perfect.
You're saying everything
Perfect.
goes right. He
No,
has
what
26
would you
days,
say?
shows flashes. He's accurate. They win a playoff game. Like
What would you say though?
I don't fucking know. Be like he's okay. Do it again.
You can't say he's okay. You gotta say he's nice at that point.
Okay, what
Yeah, so he
happens?
was
What
wrong.
happens? What happens if he has 12 touchdowns, 16 interceptions?
So you're saying
and
what happens if he's a
completes 60%?
bust? If he's a bust,
Yeah,
I say I was wrong.
and I'll say I was wrong too.
All right, I'm just making sure.
You think I
That's-
won't stand up?
that's
Like you
so-
think I'm gonna come up and be like, bro, I believed in Jordan Love since day one. You think I'm gonna
No,
do that?
I just want to understand that you are willing to admit
I'm always willing to admit when I'm wrong.
you're wrong about Jordan Love.
Okay, he's got to play. Like, I have to see him on the field.
All right.
It'd be a lot easier if he just played football.
Yeah, I mean it's hard to do when Aaron Rodgers is in front of you.
I guess.
Even I said this the other day, the perfect analogy. Even if the Packers had Justin Herbert, we wouldn't know what he was today because he wouldn't have played over Aaron Rodgers to this point.
I know.
Even if that was Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert.
Jordan Love. Let's just wrap it up here. Jordan Love's going to be either Aaron Rodgers or Justin Herbert. Those are the two.
Sheesh.
Not bad.
I
comps.
did a
Not bad
poll.
comps.
I did a poll on my Twitter. What is Jordan Love going to be? And people were not high on that poll. And I can't wait to come back to it 2 years from now and laugh.
I forgot what I voted on. I think
Yeah.
you had like mid-level starter on there. I think I voted for that.
Average starter, 45%.
Yeah, I didn't vote for bust. That's rude.
Franchise quarterback, 7%. Oh, man.
What's the Nets poll at right now?
We have 90 votes, 69% Celtics, 31%
I voted.
Nets.
I voted.
Boston,
I didn't vote.
But like you said, that's actually not far off, though.
70-30?
That's
Yo,
far
come on,
off.
bro.
That's not a clearing. It's not.
Yes, it is.
Because if you were to ask the Nets versus the the Celtics versus the Bulls, the Celtics would be like 95%.
Well, yeah, they have Katie and Kyrie. I'm not.
No, I'm not. It's not that
What
far
about if we
off.
asked the Knicks versus the Celtics? You think it'd be the system would break because of how bad they would pick the Celtics?
No, probably 100% leaning the Celtics away.
What do we do to Bulls in the
But
league? Who to win?
But when we ask who turn around the Celtics season, and one of the answers is RJ Barrett, that's going to be 95%.
Okay.
Shout out to RJ,
You think
man.
we put a poll up of who's better, the Bulls and the Knicks? You think
I actually think it's a lot closer than this.
Let's do it.
that's all the fire and fuel I need.
Do the same format though. We're recording right now. No bias.
Both teams at their best.
That's all the fuel I needed.
All right, I'll go quick for the preseason while he's doing that. Should we care that the Ravens won 22 straight preseason games?
No,
the
but
record?
it's cool.
No, okay, I agree. Michael Thomas gets hurt again, tweaks his hamstring. If you're playing fantasy, do you draft him at all?
Yeah, I have my draft this weekend.
I wouldn't draft him.
I was in on Michael Thomas. He's going around like round 7, 8 right now.
Yeah.
There's too many talented receivers to take a flyer on Michael Thomas.
Would you rather around that range? It's like Michael Thomas, Gabe Davis, Rashad Bateman. That's where he's going.
That's where he's going?
Yeah.
It's tempting to take the risk on Michael Thomas, but as Michael Thomas can have a bounce back season, but I think Rashad Bateman can have a breakout season. And I think Gabe Davis can also have a big time year too. So I honestly wouldn't pick Michael Thomas.
If Michael Thomas plays less than 10 games this year, is his career over?
Damn.
As like a
Over
legitimate
is
player.
Crazy.
Like he could be on rosters,
Yeah.
but is he like actually playing at all?
I'm not gonna say over.
Over is nuts. Will. That's crazy.
He just gets injured over and over. I mean, I'm not saying it's over, but it's knocking on the door of the end. The rest of them for me, you guys already talked about the Reds or Washington, Dallas stuff. Yeah.
Me, I'm gonna lock in on my boys. But you know what I'm saying? Kenny Pickett, he has been amazing in training camp. He's been shortening the leash for Mitch Trubisky. I'm so glad Mason Rudolph is like the third guy. He's fucking horrible. But I'm gonna lock in on my boys real quick. AJ Brown has been really good in practice in training camp. Jalen Hurts just keeps getting better day by day. Davon fucking Allen. Once again, I was oozing. Davon Allen.
He's good.
He's
really good.
fast, and the footwork is there. So I think our team looks really nice. Our young talent looks good. We've been really good. Gregory Rousseau, another guy, he pretty much locked up that spot on the defensive line along Von Miller and I forgot the other name, Ed Oliver. He pretty much guaranteed that spot. AJ Espinoza is going to be the backup.
Espinoza.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So those are my three guys. I think Buffalo's going to go to the Super Bowl this year. I'm saying
Devonta Smith's also back from practice. He's been hurt and he's been killing it.
He has been back.
killing
Thank God. Buffalo's going to the Super Bowl this year. That's my early Golden State vibe. I'm locking that in today. I'm putting the stock in today. Josh Allen MVP and the Buffalo Bills are going to the Super Bowl. So I'm locking that in. Best quarterback in the league.
That's good.
Any quick you have any? We did the award show last week. Do you guys have any awards you want to spit out? MVP, comeback player of the year, coach of the year, offensive player.
So MVP, I'll
Spit
probably
on
say Josh Allen. Crazy. That was pause. Oh, that was so crazy.
That video's hilarious.
MVP, Josh Allen. Coach of the year, obviously Sean McDermott, because I think the Buffalo Bills will have the best record.
Okay.
I'm really high in the Bills. Offensive player of the year. Oh, yeah.
We all went Justin Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson.
All three of us.
Jettis?
It's usually not a quarterback. It's usually a running back. or
Minnesota,
receiver.
hell yeah.
Justin.
Forgot you're a Vikings
Is it
fan.
two? Does
Yes,
it go
sir.
NFC and AFC?
Yeah.
So who'd you go for the AFC?
Jamar
Oh no,
Chase.
it's just
straight
one.
in the
right. It's just one.
No,
Yeah.
it's both, isn't it?
NFC.
No,
and
it's
AFC
just one.
they
Because
go?
just Cooper Cup won last year.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you know what?
Yeah.
I'll
It's
jump.
just for one
I'll
country.
jump on the. I'll jump on the bandwagon. Jettis. Who'd you pick for defense?
Player of the year.
Yeah.
We all picked Parsons. Michael.
Really?
Yeah.
Micah.
Doesn't move you.
I hate Dallas, so it actually doesn't move me
I-
at fucking
I
all.
don't love Dallas either, but he's
I actually
disgusting.
wouldn't. I'm not picking them at all.
Okay.
So you like the Vikings, but not the Timberwolves.
Yeah, I've been to Minnesota. I haven't been to a Vikings game because I went in the summer, but yeah, I don't care about other Minnesota sports. No.
Screaming. Defensive player. Of the year. I'm not. Fuck Parsons, bro. Fuck
Comeback
him.
player of the year. CMC. Michael Thomas. Chase Young.
I'll
Jameis.
probably bank on Chase Young. You know what? I'm gonna say both. Defensive player of the year. I'm gonna go Chase Young.
Okay, that'd be
All right,
huge.
That's good.
I'm gonna take a wild pick. Chase Young.
You got any, Will?
Oh no, I lied. They're in my division. Fuck them too. Never mind. Never mind.
Rev's gonna give his answers out on Twitter.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have to do that.
I don't really know. I think I'll go MVP. I think I'll go Mahomes. Excuse me, Mahomes for MVP. Mahomes for MVP. Yeah. Mahomes for MVP because everybody's forgetting about him now that they traded Tyreek Hill. I think Joel made good points before about that. Mahomes doesn't need Tyreek Hill to succeed. I think he's been the darling of the NFL since he got in, and I think people are starting to forget about him. They're starting to think about Joe Burrow more. They're starting to think about Justin Herbert more. They're starting to think they love Lamar Jackson now for him to get paid.
Is there a scenario where Russell Wilson gets that shit?
MVP?
MVP.
Yeah.
There's a scenario.
Sure.
Maybe unlikely.
No, like a realistic one.
Yes,
I know.
yes.
No. Oh, he might. Like a
In
real.
Yeah.
2020, he had 40 touchdowns.
He's going to stay
2022.
healthy and
He's hurt.
He's
Sorry,
never
2020.
been- he's never been an MVP.
2021.
He's not gonna be
Yeah,
one.
2020. He was hurt last year. Missed like 4 games.
Okay.
With the
I'm saying he
talent
had DK.
With the quarterbacks in the league
Lockett.
now,
They got Sutton,
no.
Judy.
But they ain't.
They're not them, but they're good. They're really good.
They're gonna run the ball this year too a lot. They ain't Seattle.
Better offensive line.
I like it.
Better
Okay.
coaching.
Realistic. Okay. Tim Patrick's out though. So,
Judy and Sutton. That's all they need.
at number 3 is always crucial though. that
KJ
opens up-
Hamler, solid. Deep threat.
Tim Patrick better.
Yes.
KJ's played no game snaps, by the way.
Really? No
Sounds a
game
lot
snaps?
like Jordan Love.
Yeah, but you're high on KJ, right?
hypocrisy.
Nah, I wouldn't say I'm high on KJ Hamler.
But you think he's a good guy.
He's like an okay number 3 deep threat.
But you don't think highly of Jordan Love at all.
Because you're asking me to choose if he's a franchise quarterback.
What?
Levels
Riv,
here.
Riv just said it, bro. Hypocrisy. That's all it is,
I'm here with you,
dude.
broski.
Being a hypocrite.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
My bad.
Being a hypocrite. We
Being
all
a
have our
hypocrite is
moments.
fine, dude.
We're almost at 100 votes, 72-28.
You were getting cooked.
it's going down for Brooklyn.
Bro's getting
Dude,
big.
that's pretty close.
Yo,
You made it
what's
sound like
wrong
a
with you?
sweeping.
72-28 is it actually couldn't be
Sweeping.
couldn't be less close.
We're also-
28%.
I'm also cooking him.
Oh my god.
yeah,
92-8.
That's a cooking. That's a cooking.
72-28 is
That's that's
Destroying
pretty even.
It's funny because people already know it's him.
This is pretty even. What are you talking about?
Yeah, he's nuts. This guy's hilarious.
So that's going to do it for episode 204 of the Pick a Side Podcast. You guys can follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Pick a Side Podcast, on Twitter at Pick a Side Pod, and we'll see you next time.